The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing. Live tonight from the Myrtle Beach Speedway, LSRTV is happy to say good evening sim racing fans and welcome to our continuing coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association with you tonight at LSRTV and iRacing Live. As always, we're happy that you're with us as we enter the 10th week of MBSS Series Racing, and as we welcome you topside to the LSRTV booth, it's myself, Evan Pasoko, alongside with Austin Coop, Chris Murdoch topside, and downstairs the lovely and talented Cisco Scaramuza, twisted and tweaked at dials, and bringing us to you this evening. And I believe as we get set for action that it is going to include 5 different divisions of racing, and it is going to debut a new series under the CEA banner, which we'll talk a little bit more about. The first time week number 1 of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series where there is not a double feature. 5 different series on track tonight.
Yeah, first off is going to be the premiere of CEA's Dash for Cash experience that they're going to be having. It's going to be just like the 80s and 90s style Winston Cup series, and so this series will debut and definitely definitely be a really cool thing to see what the series will be for these guys. It'll be a little bit of promotion, but a little bit of fun for them as well. You know, when it comes to driving these cars, they're very similar to the way the old Cup cars used to be. So definitely really cool deal what these guys are going to be doing here soon.
We are going to get the night kicked off with that Dash for Cash series, and it is going to be the national cars down on the racetrack, which is going to be fun. And I talk about how I love seeing the trucks at a racetrack like this. The nationals are going to be fun, no doubt, but this Dash for Cash series is the newest addition to the Championship Esports Association's lineup of active series for the league. The CEA Dash for Cash will feature iRacing's NASCAR, K&N Pro Chevrolets racing on tracks the former NASCAR Winston Cup series visited back in the 80s and the 90s. And in addition to a throwback schedule, the pot is sweetened by a $300 purse for the championship, as always, when it applies to that series, and it also applies to this series and the likes of the Cars Esport Tour and more. All the information on the Championship Esports Association can be found online by logging on to championshipesports.com. So Chris, they're kicking off tonight and getting us underway with 50 laps. It's going to be the second longest main event on the evening. We do have the late models later on in the night. They are the feature tonight at 60 laps, but the mini stocks with us, the Legends and the U-Cars, are all back this evening.
Yeah, the Nationals and the late models are my 2 favorite cars to drive on short tracks. So this race opening up should be interesting. And as you mentioned, CEA really changing it up here tonight. Going to have the Dash for Cash National Series. So it should be very, very interesting to see how hard these drivers drive early on. Like you mentioned, 50 laps. Got to keep those tires under them here tonight, Evan.
So it's going to be a long night of short track racing action, and as always, we're happy that you're spending your Wednesday evening with us at LSRTV and iRacing Live. Also, coverage of tonight's Myrtle Beach Simulation Series is brought to you by Blue Ridge Napa of Fort Chiswell, Virginia. Napa is your trusted source for automotive parts, accessories, and know-how for your car, truck, or SUV. You can shop online for original OEM and replacement parts today at NapaOnline.com. A full slate of racing action, the Dash for Cash, the mini stocks, the Legends, the Blue Ridge Napa late models, and the U-Cars getting set to get underway.
Yeah, but before we do any of that, we do want to take a small moment of time, a moment of silence. This past weekend, Myrtle Beach had suffered a tragic loss of Jackie Ward. who had passed away at the track. And before we start any of the action tonight, we definitely want to have a moment of silence. All of us at CEA, LSRTV included, send our thoughts and prayers out to the family, pit crew, friends, fans, and anyone else who was there, and including all fellow racers. Thank you for the moment of silence. The drivers are going to be getting into their vehicles as we speak, and I'll take it back and give it back to Evan here as these guys cherish that small little moment as driver camaraderie. And we're going to get 22, maybe 23 drivers here to celebrate racing as we do each and every Wednesday.
It's always fun being able to do this series. For those who may not tune in with us week in, week out, the CEA, an official partner with the folks over at Myrtle Beach, so we extend those thoughts to everybody over there, and we hope that tonight we can have a fun night of action. And as we say every night, and as we say tonight again, we're happy that you're with us. Let's go trackside and get tonight's racing action underway with a look top to bottom at your Dash for Cash National Car starting grid for tonight's 50-lap opening feature race. Christian Peterson is going to be on a pole position. There's no shocker in that one. He'll be behind the wheel of the number 23 machine once more, and he was the only driver to go sub 18 seconds, a 17.950. Put him on the pole. He'll be joined on the front row by the 46 of Kyle Barnes. Matt Cucker and Gabe Wood going to make up row 2. They start 3rd and 4th respectively, with Jeff Ward just behind to round out the top 5.
Starting in the 6th position is going to be Tanner Cook. He's pretty darn good in these cars. Raced with him a few times. Dwight Beverly, he'll start in 7th. Wade Rookard, he's going to start in 8th place. Then you've got Jeremy Adams, who starts 9th. And then you've got a couple other drivers in here who are kind of no-namers for this Wednesday series. You've got Tyler Dalton starting 10th.
Will Dravicki in that 13 machine, he'll be rolling off from the 11th place position. Jeffrey Harden is going to be 12th. Paul Henley is going to be 13th. 14th goes to Jonathan Lawrence, and rounding out your top 15, the 8 car of Randy Yoakum.
Outside of that row, 16th tonight going to go to Logan Gibson. It'll be passenger side to Randy Yoakum. You've got Billy Turgate, who runs in 17th, with Robbie Vanderback 18, Sean Cross, and Todd Novosad to round out the top 20. And to complete the field here tonight, way back row number 11, inside to P21, Ricky Harden, outside Judy Green, P22. And that looks like that'll be all the cars that roll off of the grid. Looks like top to bottom, 22 cars strong here tonight from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Again, getting the night open up with an exhibition for this Dash for Cash series. You can find more information if you want to be a part of this thing as it gets set to go running with over $300 in points payouts due up when this season gets underway. More information by going to championshipesports.com. You can get directly to this series' landing page if you go to championshipesports.com/dash the number 4 cash. We're happy that they are joining us tonight. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen an exhibition race. Last time we had one of these, it was the Outlaw Lake Models on track tonight. The Dash for Cash series gets week number 10 of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series underway. And we're happy that you're with us tonight on LSRTV and iRacing Live. American Ethanol, green flag in the air. We're off and away to turn 1.
Yeah, good start from Kyle Barnes on the outside, and that Superflow machine. He's going to be on the outside. He's actually going to be able to get a little bit away from Peterson. Peterson got a little bit loose, until Barnes on the outside. That's really where you want to be at the start of these races. He's going to get the lead immediately from Christian Peterson. Peterson off of a real high from yesterday, winning the CEA Tour Modified season opener. So he's on a good roll, but then you've got a battle behind him as well. Gabe Wood and Matt Cucker. Wood is going to get that position for the time being.
And he's working up on the outside of the racetrack, same spot that Barnes was able to hold off Peterson. I say hold off because the 46 had the advantage down to 1 and 2, even though that 23 was really the control car. So 2 passes up on the outside of the racetrack, and to move 4th to 3rd and 2nd to 1st. Kind of contrary to what we would expect when you think about which lanes tend to have the better runs. The top 10, though, single file things out. The 23 Peterson thinking about challenging for the race lead. And he'll make it side by side once again, trying to get it back at lap number 4.
Yeah, coming off of turn 2, he looked like he had the run. He's still going to keep the nose there on the the rear quarter panel, but they're going to be wrecking in the back. Caution going to be out here for the first time tonight.
There's a couple of cars. It looks like the smoke coming from the 13 of Will Dravicki. That car wrong way around to down in turn number 3. And he was a part of this one. Contact with he and the 19 machine. But this stemmed from contact even in front of them. The 96 machine at Tanner Cook got hit by, I think that was the 89 behind him. He actually got sideways but didn't go all the way around, kind of got righted by contact with Beverly, and it was that group that I then first caught up with the driver of the number 13 machine. They all started getting on the brakes. Tyler Dalton checked up hard. 13 tagged him to back end, and I think those are the 2 cars that actually end up bringing out the yellow.
Yeah, you see it all too often. Drivers who have issues really find themselves to not be as bad as the drivers behind them. Yeah, it looks like Tyler Dalton actually got pushed into the inside wall. I think that's from the 36. That appears to be Jeffrey Harden. Looks like he just nudged into him, was not ready to, or that was the 13 actually, of Will Dravicki. He was not ready to slow down for the wreck, and then he got involved in a couple of other hits, a lot of other drivers, but yeah, he appears to have the worst of it though.
We never want to see contact early on in the evening. That's the issue that has us slowed down at the opening 5 laps of this. Now pace it on number 7 again, 50-lap main event in these Dash for Cash cars. The Chevrolet Impalas, the Dash-It-Alls, the K8Ns, whatever you want to refer to them as, they are fun regardless. Still a lot to come tonight, as noted, though. The mini stocks are back with us. It's been 3 weeks since we've seen them. They have a 30-lap feature coming up, followed by a 25-lap Legends Division main event. That main event that we were talking about, the 60-lap late model feature, and then the U-Cars back to close out the night for the 2nd week in a row, 25 laps as normal. So if you're just tuning in maybe for the first time and aren't familiar with this format, there's a lot of action. Hang tight. You're going to see a lot of different faces and familiar faces, to be honest, across the couple of spectrums of different events we have going on tonight. But by the time we get the lights back out on top of the pace car and this race back underway, we'll probably be raiding that range with about 10 or so laps complete, depending on if the lights actually go out this time by. So still plenty of time to get going.
Yeah, plenty of time to get going, and for drivers like Christian Peterson, who was working for that lead, he's got to keep these green flag or these caution flag laps to a minimum, because we saw him on the inside of that 46 of Kyle Barnes, who's been doing a great job on the high side controlling this field, but he needs to get up there and get side by side with him, or Kyle Barnes will be able to run away with this thing. So we can't see too many of the yellow flags like we've seen early this on, because not only is there's 50 laps, but we also got to worry about that time limit here tonight, Evan.
Time limit in effect, as always, 30 minutes tops for this one. If we're not able to complete the 50 laps in that window, we've only seen one event all season long resort to that. Pace car does go down, and in this time it'll be a single file restart, 9 laps complete, 41 laps to go for Myrtle Beach. The outside's not an option, which is good news for Barnes. He's able to protect the turn number 1. Wood wants to go to the inside. He passed using the outside to get to where he is in 3rd, trying both lanes, couldn't make it stick.
Hey, you got to remember that this is trying to be a realistic representation of that Cup Series, just in the 80s and early 90s, and that's what we have the single file restarts. They didn't have that till they tried that in the All-Star race some years back. But also thinking about the cautions, those are triggered by iRacing. Remember, the driver or the guy who typically makes those calls, well, he's the leader right now and doing a good job of it right now, keeping a good space between them. And with these single file restarts, there actually isn't any battles currently for position in the top 10. These guys are just trying to really figure out where they're going to be, how their tire situation is, and really where they're better at than the guy in front of them, or worse at than the guy behind them.
Because that first run was very short, and I think really the yellow dropped just as we had kind of completed, guys fighting and trying to get single file. Don't have any idea who's better on a long run. Again, fastest lap tonight was put down by Christian Peterson in qualifying, the only driver to go sub 18 seconds. It's an impressive stat. In reality, it was only 7/100ths of a second faster than Barnes. So that's not to say the 23 should be running him over, but he's looking at the inside of the racetrack. We don't pass it on the bottom. Will be a challenge, but Peterson's not going to let this opportunity go unchallenged, and he'll take a peek to the inside as the nose there keeps the nose there.
Yeah, and this is exactly what the car behind them, the 90 of Gabe Wood, needs to see. He needs to get back up there and maybe make this a 3-car battle for the lead. But look, Kyle Barnes rocketing off the outside lane in turn 2 and just clearing Christian Peterson there. So obviously that driver has found something in the middle lane that Christian Peterson just can't work through, because that inside line not working to the best. You see Christian Peterson move up just a lane and now get the run off, and he's going to get loose off the corner there, Evan, trying to get everything he can very early on here. Could be costly for him later on in the run.
But it looked like they both got loose. Barnes had a bit of a bobble too, but it was definitely Peterson who was losing the handle a little bit more, and then basically got rid of the side-by-side. The 23 had worked himself up to the driver's side door with the 46 Chevrolet in front. Not only did that kind of stint his momentum, but here comes Gabe Wood again. Tried to pass Peterson on the inside of the restart. I found that interesting. I mean, if you're the 23, that's your only option, but for the 90, he passed the 69 on the top. But if Peterson continues to try to work on the bottom, he's leaving the top side unoccupied, and all of a sudden Coop no longer trying to go up to first, now just trying to defend second. Gabe Wood is there.
And Wood's been having a good last few weeks, and truly a good Myrtle Beach Simulation series so far. He's won those fun races with the Pontiac Solstice. Oh, he gets in the wall! He's gonna hit the wall, and he's gonna spin out right in front of the 89, it looks like, and that's gonna create a caution. Oh, big wreck, big wreck. They're still gonna pile. Oh, goodness.
Still going in 3 and 4. The caution is out, and we were talking about how good of a night it was going to be for Gabe Wood. He tags the fence, slowed it down quite a bit, and then broke sideways, got hit by the 89 machine. You mentioned that. That was Jeff Ward, and Ward just couldn't get off him. Both of those cars into the outside wall, and then Ward snaps back down in front of the field, and it was not pretty. Maybe we can blame that on the 1980s technology and brake pads, but there was a lot of cars behind the initial contact that got in that one.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how hard it is to get off the wall here when you're going that speed, Evan, because he got up into the wall and got a little bit of rear end damage from Matt Cucker, and then he tried to pull it off the wall coming down into turn 3 and regain it. The car just had too much wheeling, and it just went major sideways right down to that 89 machine. And like you mentioned, just a whole host of cars piling in into turns 3 and 4. So unfortunate for that 90 machine today, but once again, very fortunate for that 46 machine of Kyle Barnes, as Christian Peterson was looking on the inside once again.
That was a very different characteristic, if you will, to the wreck. That was a lot of cars junked up in that one, but it happened down at the same end of the racetrack, a little bit different circumstances, but turn 3 has not been a calm and cool place to be this evening, and something else that we're going to have to keep an eye on is the drivers who didn't necessarily end up in the junkyard down at that end of the racetrack, but got a part of the fender benders. When we saw Wood slide down the hill, he hit Matt Cucker pretty good on the passenger side, so there's damage on the right-hand side of the 69 machine. Wade Rookert has damage in P5. There's some damage on Tanner Cook's entry, who rides in 6th position, same with Jeremy Adams in 7th. So not only were there a lot of cars taken out, really, and all that contact, but there's a lot of people who just kind of got scathing or swiping blows as they went on by, and we'll have to see if that really affects them all that much.
Yeah, I'll say definitely when you look at the replay, or at the first glance, that looked like the 36 to Jeffrey Harden just didn't break, but he went from 115 miles an hour all the way to 65 before he hit any of them. Noted that you're supposed to go slower in the corner anyways. It looked at first that was definitely what you would consider a no-brake zone for that driver, but he was actually trying to get slow, and as soon as he did hit them, you saw that his car immediately slowed down. So I think I just wanted to clarify that, because it did look like he just barreled in there, but he was hard on the brakes. And these cars have good brakes, but even, with as heavy as they are and with the way this track is, it can still be difficult to slow down.
Second yellow is going to bridge us basically to the halfway point in this one, as it was the last time. 1 lap shy of making the math easy. 24 complete, 26 laps to go, and Kyle Barnes looked very good on the start, but Peterson was all over him. You got to subtract Gabe Wood out of the equation. Is Cucker good enough at a P3 at the moment to go up to P2, or is Christian Peterson going to get a couple of opportunities to fight with the number 46 for the race lead? We'll find out. Green flag flies again, halfway there next time.
Coming through the turns, Christian Peterson getting the run off of turn number 2, trying to track down that 46 machine of Kyle Barnes once again. Now look at Christian Peterson, going to move up really high, coming through turns 3 and 4 and trying to get the run off, and it's going to work because now he's going to be all over the back bumper of the 46, moving way up the track now, trying to get it, but that might open the door for the 69 of Matt Cucker. No, it won't. Really huge run coming off the corner, going down into turn number 3, looking at the inside now, trying to get any position he can on Kyle Barnes.
He is looking to the inside, not going to be able to stick there. Jumps back up in line in single file again. Top 3 trying their best to pull away for the win. Beverly right there in P4. They're one all kinds of out of shape at a turn 2. Basically going to leave him all alone as the top 3 set the pace. Bumper to bumper, separated by just 0.3 of a second as Peterson looks again.
I don't think it'll be long before the 23 actually gets that number 46 of Barnes. He's trying to, he gets a nudge in him. He does get him a little bit, and then here comes Cucker on the outside of the 23 of Christian Peterson. And this might be Christian Peterson's battle to lose right here. Gets really loose off the corner, and now he's actually going to be cleared of Matt Cucker. Matt Cucker has seized a couple of opportunities to get where he's at right now. Now can he battle Barnes right here for the lead? It's really, Barnes gets in the outside wall, just like Gabe did earlier, but he's going to be able to save it. Doesn't have an issue like Gabe did earlier.
The issue is, when you get into the outside wall, it's not really that it's taking your speed away. You can't get off the wall. You got to lift, jerk that car back off the wall because it gets stuck up there, and it completely does contact Peterson into the outside wall hard at a turn number 2. A big hit after I don't know if he made contact with Cocker, but it was awfully close, and that car is destroyed.
Yeah, huge amount of damage to that 23 machine. Gonna make his night go from bad to so much worse. But meanwhile, up front, that contact has allowed Kyle Barnes to grow a 4/10 gap on that 69 machine of Matt Cucker. With laps winding down, Matt Cucker's not only got to get right back up to the 46 of Kyle Barnes, but also got to try to make that pass that's oh so hard to do at this track.
The 23 is still fighting, believe it or not. He's fallen back to 6th behind Wade Rickard and is not giving up. But now, Matt Cucker, he was second already. Peterson was trying his best to get a nose to the outside of the racetrack, but now it's not mano-a-mano up at the front of the field. And Cucker had damage, noted that under the yellow. I'm sure he got a little bit more damage after that one, if anything, just kind of relegated to the right rear quarter panel of that entry. But all of a sudden, Kyle Barnes, who looked like that he was the one that had the bullseye on his back bumper, now pulling away out front and looking pretty good.
Yeah, those first 2 cars are just a country mile between themselves and Tanner Cook. Tanner Cook already having a pretty eventful night for himself as well, finds himself in a very lucky 3rd place. But I'll tell you, with these front 2 right here, they're definitely going to be, I feel like the battle between these guys is not going to be over for a while. And this lap car is going to barely get out of the way in time. Almost became an issue there. But I'll tell you, I looked at the replay between that issue with the 23 of Christian Peterson. Yeah, I think he just got really loose out of the corner. I don't think it had anything to do with Matt Cucker. And in fact, they didn't even touch fenders or anything. It just was all on his own. And like we talked a few weeks ago, that's not like the 23 to do that. But even then, he's still gaining positions, and he's in 4th right now.
He has picked up 2 spots back around Rooker and back around Beverly, still 2.5 seconds off. If he can get to Tanner Cook, who's got an equally damaged race car, I wouldn't be surprised if those 2 are able to race with each other. Then the question would be, do you have a fast enough car to make up 2 seconds? The answer is just going to be no in 13 laps unless he gets the yellow. And maybe that car's not as badly hurt as we thought at first. There's virtually no right side left on it. It's not driving that bad, but again, keep in mind, he is driving right now while it is 3rd around a couple of other cars who also have damage from earlier accidents. Barnes, though, will not pull it away anymore, and a yellow flag will fly on the doorstep at 10 laps to go. Caution.
Trying to figure out where the caution came from this time. Trying to figure it out. Not really quite sure where the caution comes, but that's going to rack everybody up as the 01 machine of Dwight Beverly going to go around.
And this is down the back straightaway, kind of reminiscent, if you will, to a couple of the pieces of contact we've seen. Just working up on the outside of the racetrack, he hits the fence, and very weird to describe, but the way the bank it is on this racetrack, Coop, that outside wall is kind of leaning in. So the base of the outside wall is further away than the top. It's skewed in and leaning in is the best way I could describe it. And that's why these guys, when they catch the fence, they've had so big issues getting it off the wall. And that time, the Owen didn't even have a chance. It just sucked it right around.
Yeah, it's like the rear end hit first, and that's why he spun out so quickly. Not really that much damage, but yeah, it's one of those things that you, as a driver behind the wheel, you just don't think about. You just keep running. You keep your eyes forward, and it's really something that you can't really predict at some points. But right now, we are going to see some drivers come down pit road. Looks like Paul Henley is the only driver on the lead lap to come down pit road, and they are allowed to get tires. They are only allowed one full set. But with the fact of the matter that no one else came down, I think Paul Henley is going to be in a good position because he's probably going to be able to pass some of these guys just because he's got fresh rubbers on. So just a few drivers down, but he's the only guy on the lead lap that's going to be able to really benefit from this.
And I did say that, well, Peterson might need a late race yellow if he's got anything left in what's left of that race car. Now's the time to do it. I'm not sure this is going to have that big of an effect on the race, but in all honesty, Chris, because Matt Cucker was already on a back bumper of Kyle Barnes, and if Tanner Cook and Peterson are actually 2 seconds slower than these guys, which was the gap at the moment of yellow, the top two should pull away. So kind of just, I almost think that this would hurt Matt Cucker's hopes, because he takes 3-4 laps away that he had on the bumper, the race leader, that he can't do anything with. He doesn't have 11 laps to work with, for example. He'll have about 7 or 6 laps left to go, and he'll be right back where he was before.
That's true, Evan, but if somebody can take a bad situation and turn around, I would put my money on that 23 of Christian Peterson. So I'm not going to completely count him out yet. Maybe he's just needed to get back up there and regather the car, but he's really gaining spots, and he doesn't look too bad out there that the visuals are showing. So maybe he could be around Tanner Cook pretty quickly and get up there, but I'm going to be looking at Matt Cucker. He was all over the back bumper of that 46 machine, so I'm going to be looking nothing different from that 69, maybe even a pass as the pace car goes in.
This is where we find out. Pace car in. Could it be for the final time tonight? Single file restart. Car's going to come high side at a turn number 4 to make sure that nobody sneaks up to their outside on the restart. It's going to be Barnes, Cucker, Cook, Peterson at a record 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as we go back underway. 43 laps complete.
Wow, really close to the back bumper is Matt Cucker. Any mistake that's made, he'll be there. And look at the battle behind him, the 96 and the 23 still going side by side, but looks like that 23 is going to go to the very outside of him. And so we'll have 6 laps to go at the start-finish line as the battle for third's on. That battle for the lead's currently subsided.
There goes Peterson up on the outside of the racetrack, back to third after falling back to a race low P7 after his initial contact that sent him way back. And caution, gonna fly once more, gotta try it again. It's Paul Henley on the back.
Yeah, that driver of Paul Henley, who just got actually fresh tires, gonna loop it around coming out of turn 2. We'll have to get the replay up and see what really happened here, but it looks like he just got in the corner and got in just a little bit too hot because he got really out of shape there, Evan, and just couldn't get it back in and just really slowly looped it around coming out of the corner. So maybe fresh tires didn't work out the way he wanted it to that time, but caution will be out, and I think we might get that a nice one-lap shootout here to end it all.
At first, I thought it was Henley because he was on the curves, but you're exactly right. He got sideways, and that's kind of why he drifted down to the apron, and I'm sure the curbs didn't help his cause out all that much, but he seesawed the wheel back to the right, then back to the left, and looped it around. The good news, if any, is that he doesn't pick up any damage from this thing. It was just a single car spin, and because he had pitted to get tires, he doesn't lose any positions either. He was 13th at the time. He will still be 13th. Obviously, the opportunity loss is that he got fresh tires to obviously try to make up spots from 13th. At least he doesn't go any further backwards. And for all the damage that Peterson had, and I questioned, okay, is he a 2 seconds slower car? Is he up there? I know it was a very small sample size, Coop, at 2-3 laps, but Peterson was right there on the bumper with Cucker, and I think that he's got a fighting chance still.
I think he does, but I think Barnes is just definitely commanded the race so far. He's led every single lap so far, and I think it's going to be difficult to really dethrone somebody on a one lap. I mean, you can definitely get into him, but I think the only problem about that is spinning somebody at a short track like this. You're probably going to get yourself involved in a way somehow where the driver's going to make it so that you get involved in it somehow. So I feel if anyone's going to actually move anybody, it's not really going to be that beneficial. Plus, the driver behind him is probably going to be smart enough to get around it somehow.
13 drivers total scored on the lead lap. Again, it is going to be a lot more difficult, on those race starts we were talking about for them being single foul to get an opportunity. But I believe this race might end. I was thinking with about 5-6 laps left to go at the time of caution that we should have been lined up to be able to get at least a one-lap shootout, but a light's still on top of the pace car as we come to 1 to go. This thing's done.
Yeah, Kyle Barnes did a great job at maneuvering around this track. We don't see him run in this series a lot here, Evan, but when he got up on that high side, there was just no passing him. They could get there, they can get on the inside, but he was able to use the high side to advantage, pinch the run off the corners, and just sail away with this victory. So very well deserved race by Kyle Barnes, and what a rebound from Christian Peterson to go back all the way to P7, like you mentioned, come back to finish third.
And I'm sure that he would have very much appreciated the opportunity for this race to go back at rain flag conditions. That did not happen. Nonetheless, he came up, give Kyle Barnes a congratulatory tap as he comes at a turn number 4 to the checkered flag. Kyle Barnes is your winner tonight for the Myrtle Beach Speedway in the Dash for Cash series.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest move of the race was the initial start of the race, and I think a lot of these guys got to be thinking about how important that start of the race is. A lot of people say take it easy at the beginning of the race, but in particular, he just made it so that the pass for the lead was the very beginning, and he led every single lap.
That move went down into turns 1 and 2 when he opened a lap, but he didn't have to pass anybody else the rest of the evening. I think that if you were to kind of plan out a night, that's exactly how you would want it to go. Kyle Barnes, again, your winner tonight in the Dash for Cash series. The debut of this new series. Again, if you want more information on it, championship@esports.com. More information on it, but that's how it wraps up tonight with 50 laps in the books. And as always, we'll take an opportunity to look top to bottom on the scoring pylon at your LSRTV full race result. Kyle Barnes gets that win after starting second at every single lap, regardless of that first statistic, to go on to beat Matt Cucker, who comes home in second tonight. Christian Peterson, a valiant charge back to third. Tanner Cook is fourth, and Wade Ruckert was P5.
Starting in the finishing in the 6th positions, Ricky Harden. Then you've got Jody Green, who went all the way up from 22nd to 7th. Then you've got Randy Yoakum. Logan Gibson finishes in the 9th position. Then Jonathan Lawrence finishes 10th.
11th goes the 03 of Billy Tongate. Robbie Bunden going to be finishing in that 12th position. 13th in the last car on the lead. Lap's going to be that 16th. Paul Henley. Tyler Dalton's going to be 14th. And Todd Novosad is going to be 15th.
Look top to bottom at your LSRTV full race results. Barnes is going to head back upstairs to the control room and race control to get things underway, because we head back to our championship series here with the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series, and the mini stocks are going to be due up next. First time since we ride. We'll take this opportunity to step aside when we come back. Still plenty of racing to come, but many stocks are action for the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series Championship Esports LSRTV and iRacing Live. Welcome back live to the Myrtle Beach Speedway for LSRTV's continuing coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association at LSRTV and iRacing Live. Happy to have you for week 10 of our coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. Already saw Kyle Barnes go to victory lane in the Dash for Cash series. That what an exhibition. We now return to our regularly scheduled programming, if you will, on Scoot with the mini stocks on track. 30 laps due up for these cars. It has been a little bit of time since we have seen them and noted it before we stepped away. Last time we saw them was week number 7. Tommy Ryan at victory lane, which has been one of his many victories in these cars.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan is one of those guys that you see do pretty well. Just week in and week out, he's been doing very. I'd say that's the best way to say it, to be steady. That's definitely what we've seen him. They'll be going 30 laps tonight. I think that typically they do 25 lap runs in these cars, but it looks like tonight they're going to be doing a little bit extra this time. Definitely expect him to do good again. Just like always, we've got those 10 same drivers here, and we've had a lot of different winners in all of the series, but the mini stocks we've had quite a few different ones as well.
This is going to be the 7th time, I believe, that we will see these cars on track. At least that's the total number of races that was run. I was just double checking. Yeah, it'll be the 7th time the mini stocks have had an event this year. We have had 4 different winners so far to this point. Let's head trackside, though. Take a look at your LSRTV starting grid for tonight's mini stock 30-lap feature race. Ricky Harden is going to start this one on a pole position. He is the highest driver in points without a win in these cars, and he sits outside next to the 3-time winner, Tommy Ryan, who will start from P2. Matthew Tucker will start tonight in 3rd position alongside with DJ Beverly outside row 2 P4, David Messier to round out your top 5.
Starting in the 6th position is going to be Jody Green. He's going to have a lot of momentum from that last race, and so will Tanner Cook, who starts 7th. Tyler Lugo Vickery will start in the 8th place. Randy Yoakum 9th, and then Richard Reagan Jr. will start from the 10th position in the number 40 machine.
That's a look top to bottom at your LSRTV starting grid. The cars begin to roll. Trevin Tommy Ryan, championship leader in these cars by 9 points over Ricky Harden, Matthew Tucker, James Krahula, and Dwight Beverly. The top 5, no shocker, those are the names we're seeing up front in the qualifying order.
Absolutely no shock at all, especially Tommy Ryan with a dominating performance in these cars. I'm looking for him to maybe take home another victory tonight with these mini stocks, and it's just going to be one heck of a race, as these cars are going to be really interesting to see how people handle these cars into the corner and coming out of the corner, because I'm not really sure these are meant to be on here, but it's going to be one heck of a race.
The other thing we should notice often when we see these cars, they're double features, the challenge. The double features always those fast guys in the finishers for the first heat. Get back to the invert. I'll give you a thing tonight. It is just fastest cars up front and fastest driver to the start finish on the base car down there as we get set to go racing. Here we go with Ricky Harden on the front looking for his first win in the mini stock. Green flag flies were off the way. Good jump though, outside line.
Yeah, look at the outside. Tommy Ryan's got himself a great start here on the outside, and they're going to be side by side. It looks like that 6th car is going to have a great run on the outside over that 15 of Ricky Harden on the bottom, and he gets a little loose in the entrance of the corner. He's going to slide up the track just a tiny bit, but he's also going to have a lot of power. Looks like the 15 is going to maybe barely get him at the start-finish line, but look at that hungry DJ Beverly behind them as well. Tommy Ryan actually got him. Oh, look, the 42 is going to go around right in front of him, and it looks like he's going to go all the way around. No caution yet.
Single car spin. Beverly ended up down and inside of those curbs, so it was off of the racing surface, and we will stay green as we have a battle for the race lead. Harden still trying to defend on the inside of the racetrack, but like we saw early on in that Dash for Cash, top side and 2nd fastest in qualifying, the place to be. Ryan trying to get clear, and I think he's almost done it.
It's a heck of a battle up here between Tommy Ryan and Ricky Hardy. And the more they battle, the more that 3rd place position is going to come up and try to spoil the party as well. Down to the bottom, 15 nearly makes contact with that number 6 car in turn number 1. Very close contact, or very close to being in contact. you know, it's just going to be side by side, close quarter battling for these next 25 laps, and it's just going to be exciting to see who can come out on top, and if that third or fourth position will come in and play spoil to this first and second position people.
And the 15 machine is not letting Ryan get away, but definitely when he drove it quite aggressively down to that left rear quarter panel is when he kind of backed out of it, and that kind of solidified Tommy Ryan's pulling away. The top two, though, also pulling away. Jody Green, 0.7 of a second back, and I can see what Harden's trying to do. He lost the lead by a car passing him top side, and call me crazy, Coop, but I think he's trying to find a nose top side now on the 6.
Yeah, I think he's searching, and when you look at that in-car, that tells a lot about what's going on. You can see the driver's arms, you can see the lights in front of them, you can see just about everything that the driver's seeing and what they're going to do to doing something about it. Look how close the 15's getting. Oh, gosh, he got right to the outside of him, and I think he might have had a little bit of contact with the outside wall. I think Ryan went to follow up to the side of the wall. The 15 was already there. I think the 15 had to just get out of it a little bit. I don't think you can ever put those cars as close as they just were and get away with it. But wow, really close between those two drivers.
And I think Harden knew what he was doing because he kind of stuck the nose up there, and there really wasn't a car length of space to do it. It did get Ryan's car a little bit out of shape, almost put him up into the outside wall, and just kind of taking lessons learned from our first main event on the evening. If that car were to have gotten up into the outside wall, it probably would have taken him out of contention for the battle for the race lead, because it just cost you so much speed and all at once. But Harden now tries to kind of reset, get back up at the 6, was very aggressive in the initial side-by-side, was very aggressive in back bumper when he got back to him, and now sits at a car length and a half off the bumper, trying to get back there and make a third charge.
Definitely he's going to have to make that happen soon, because these laps are ticking off very quickly as we see that number 15 trying to find a lane somewhere. He was finding that outside lane a few laps ago, but he's deciding to go back down to that bottom lane. So we'll see how that works out for him, as that number 13 behind the number 15 of Jody Green is trying to find a way around both of them to play spoil. Now, looking back further, we have a little bit of battle for about, is it 7th or 6th place, between about 3 or 4 drivers, led by Randy Yoakum, and these guys are all just going to start battling it out as we get the 24 trying to pass that number 4. It's just going to be very hard to see how these guys work it out between the 4 of them and who will come out on top of this little battle.
Those 3 right on top of it all, Yoakum, Vickery, and Tucker, the tightest collection of 3 cars on the racetrack, and Vickery trying to make a move on Yoakum last lap, couldn't do it, opens up the door, and here comes Matthew Tucker to the inside. So the fight's actually going to end up being for P7. Topside defensive line keeps Tyler Lugo Vickery in front.
And something you got to remember is Matthew Tucker won the very opening race of this, and he actually graded 3rd. But something happened somewhere along the lines, and they're going to get into it right before. It's going to bring out the caution flag.
Caution flag is going to fly. We were talking about that fight. It spoiled over a little bit too much. That was a very, very spirited dive to the inside of the racetrack with the 24 of Vickery. It was open, but on these cars we can see brake lights or not, and those brake lights were far too late. And that car drove it in so hard, he broke sideways just from the entry, and there was nothing he could do to keep out of Yoakum at that point, and the missile down there in turn 1 takes out 2.
That was a very, very aggressive dive for lap number 14. But hey, you got to start somewhere, and he just came in too hot and couldn't do anything about it. Just got up into that number 4 car of Randy Yoakum and collected another car behind them that looked to be the number 56 of, or was that the 96? That would be the 58, excuse me, of David Messer. So just wrong place, wrong time for David, and number 43 with a great move out of the way.
So those cars getting together brings out a yellow, but a race that I thought was kind of looking like it had an opportunity to go green to the end of this thing. A little bit of a full send down in turn number 1, courtesy of the 24 car takes out some drivers, so we slow things down, and this is, I think, really a big opportunity for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because the top two had pulled away by about 7 or 8 tenths of a second. Now Jody Green's going to be right there, Reagan's there, Cook and company, and we're back under regular Myrtle Beach Simulation Series rules as opposed to the modified format for the Dash for Cash preview that we had just before this, which means double file restarts coming out of turn number 4. We'll see how they figure it out.
Yeah, look at Tommy Ryan on the outside. He's going to be, he chose that lane to go on the cone restart, so he gets the green flag. He's going to start going here as we have our first restart of this one, and it looks like the 6, he will get a good jump on the outside, but it's not quite there just yet. The 15 on the inside, he's going to try and make sure that the inside, he can make the best of what that is. The 6 is not going to completely be there. In fact, he doesn't have it until just about now where he's with him. The 15 still has the advantage slightly on the bottom.
And Harden on the inside. Inside has not necessarily been the place to be, so you have to think the 6 is going to fight back and really tight. That time at turn number 2. No extra real estate being exchanged amongst these drivers. The 15 comes right up to the door of Ryan each time by. Over that time by, Ryan back in front by Edos at the start-finish line.
Yeah, these guys are definitely battling it out. Nobody wants to give an inch, and we can see just hard battling coming up towards that door. And now the number 15 is going to come down below that number 16 and try to make something happen. It's just not happening for him on the low side, so he's going to have to find something different. All the meanwhile, the number 13 is going to try and join the mix as well, as we see number 13 trying to catch back up to them, as we see a fight for 4th position and battling it up, and it's between the number 96 and number 43 as they're getting really close as well, and a little bit of contact. Now the number 96 sideways into the number 42. 42 is going to be spinning down below. Caution out.
And the longest wreck in 1 and 2 finally ends up Cook around as well. Looks like in the back there it was Beverly who also went around in the 42 machine, and a yellow flag back out. 8 laps to go. Started with contact in front and just poor timing for DJ Beverly. I think that he's kind of tough on this one, Coop, because you can see that on 6 getting sideways in front, and I think he thought he was going to stay up there and saw this as an advantage. The 43 had to lift. Matthew Tucker was going to drive right in the back of that car, and I not to criticize Beverly because there's a car wreck in front of him, but I think he tried for a little bit more there than he really needed to. Tried to use that car getting sideways as an opportunity to win his battle for position, kind of box out that car topside, and well, when the number 96 slid down that little bit extra, his lane was blocked. At that point, he had already committed to the corner, and wasn't a whole lot he could have done about it.
Yeah, I'm looking at this a couple times, and I'll tell you that when I look at the 40 and the 96 on the front straightaway, I have a good feeling that what happened is definitely just a little bit of contact between Reagan and Cook right there. And Cook, I think the one thing you can't do in these cars, and I actually drove them earlier, is you just cannot make quick adjustments to how your car enters the corner. It'll do what it just happened, what you just saw every single time, and especially in the turn number 1. So I think just a little bit of contact made Cook slightly overcorrect, and it was on from there.
Quick caution flags, though, as we fall back under the manual yellow flag procedure. Pace car driver Jacob Porter going to go down to the inside this time. Drivers chose inside and out last time by. With a cone car, no surprise, Tommy Ryan wants to protect the outside of the racetrack, but can he do so successfully? Maybe just one last time. With 25 down, 5 laps to go, we're green again from Myrtle Beach.
As we see the number 6 car stay up on that high side, clearing the number 15, 13 right behind him. Looks like what we've had all night long, 6, 15, and 13 all battling it out, with a 3rd place battle behind them between that number 40 and 43. Throw the number 4 in the mix as well. We're going side by side down the front stretch, 40 inching it out by a nose. That's Richard Reagan Jr. 43 of Matthew Tucker is going to try and keep it down there and try to make the pass for that 3rd place position.
Side by side fight range is on. Jody Green clear of the battle now, so the 13 safe in 3rd. The fight's going to be for 4th. with Reagan, Tucker, Yoakum, and then even Vickery and Beverly. Everybody inside of the field battling, but here's the fight for the race lead up front. Ricky Harden with a bumper to the inside, and side by side we go, coming at 2 to go.
Yeah, he's got the inside lane. It's going to be really difficult to actually get it here, I'd say, but he's still putting the move. He's got to try something. He can't go to the top side because that's where the number 6 machine has already been. So 2 laps to go at the stripe right there for these 2 drivers, and everyone behind him. Looks like the battle for the 5th place position, or 6th place, is going on between Randy Yoakum and DJ Beverly as well. They make door-to-door contact right there in between the corner, but all eyes up front for that lead.
A lot of contact back for P6. It's a championship race. Points going to be distributed throughout, and there's money on the line at the end of the year, so every position matters. But out in front, Tommy Ryan trying to hang on to this one. He's pulled an extra 2 car lengths down the back straightaway, and for the final time to turns 3 and 4, a dive by the 15 of Harden. Going to come up shot. He'll throw away second, and Tommy Ryan win number 4 in the mini stocks.
I'll tell you what, there's a heated battle behind these guys, too, that included DJ Beverly and Randy Yoakum. Yoakum absolutely moved the number 42 out of the way. It was a really fun battle to watch, but that battle up front was real fun to watch as well. And a well-deserved win by Tommy Ryan. Once again, he's won multiple races in this series, and he's going to really have a good job, a good way of holding that championship lead by winning.
And obviously, Ryan, I think, had a big enough gap, Trevin, that Ricky Harden really wasn't going to get to him, but he still went down there in turn 3, overdrove it, and so much so to the point that he gave away second. Left it open for Jody Green to take away at turn number 4, so this ends up being a close championship difference down the line. Not something he's going to be happy about.
Oh, absolutely. You know, just battling hard all race long, and then just sends it down into the corner, and it just comes up shy and then ends up losing that second place, and that's just got to be heartbreak all race long, and that's going to give another win to Tommy Ryan, so tackle that up on the board for him. Just fantastic racing by him in this series.
To pad his championship lead, we look top to bottom at your LSRTV full race results for tonight's mini stock feature race. Tommy Ryan gets the win at the end of it all, 0.6 of a second. And for the Jody Green, who comes home in P2 for this one, Ricky Harden with a solid 3rd place finish, but what really should have been a second, no doubt. Just behind them, Richard Reagan Jr. holds on to the battle that we had briefly noted with about 5 laps left to go to come home P4 tonight. And rounding out your top 5 is Matthew Tucker.
Finishing in 6th place is Randy Yoakum. Tanner Cook finished 7th. DJ Beverly 8th. David Messier will finish 9th place. And then Tyler Ligo Vickery, who's had a pretty rough season, will finish 10th, 1 lap down.
So that's a look top to bottom at your LSRTV full race results. We step aside again, and when we return, the shortest points race on the night is due up. The Legends division, the division that we have seen the least in this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series, will return once more, so we look forward to that one with 25 laps. Of course, late models with 60 and new cars with 25, but trackside with the race winner right now, Tommy Ryan. Tommy, congratulations again on the win. 4th one on the year, so you guys obviously are having a lot of fun in these things. You came into tonight with a championship lead. You're going to lead tonight with an even bigger championship lead. Talk us through it.
These things are a blast, man. It's if you get on the brake a little hard, it gets really light on entry, but the bottom was really terrible. I felt, I was restarting up there on top just to keep the momentum in it, and hopefully when you got back to the throttle, you'd make the exit. But man, these things are a blast to drive. I'm hoping me and Ricky put on a good show there. It's just so hard to pass on the bottom. He just couldn't do anything with me unless he just decided to turn me, which he owes me a couple, but well, Ricky's a pretty good dude.
Tell you what, he went for it there in turn 3 at the final time there. Wasn't able to get up to you, but you guys were able to fight, for the better part of this thing. You actually started this race P2, but as you said, talking about the outside, that kind of lined you up for that preferred lane, and then it looked like because the control car gets to choose with the cone car procedures in this series, top and bottom, that your ability to restart topside kind of gave you guys a big upper hand there, so as to not give him really as big of an opportunity as you would expect a late race restart to do.
Oh yeah, when you're controlling the start, you're pretty much in control, and you're already in the preferred line going in there. It's as long as you don't do anything to yourself, you're going to come out okay. So it was a good race, man. I had a great time and look forward to Wednesday night every week.
Look forward to next time these mini stocks are on track. We know that you guys are surefire to be up in these things, but as well the other divisions that you race in, and the night is far from over, so we'll let you take off. Tommy, before we do the sponsors and the shout-outs, it makes it happen.
Yeah, man, Northern Tool and Equipment, Coastal Safety Auditors, Patriot Fire, and of course, Kyle for putting on a really, really good show, and you guys for putting on the broadcast, man. Thanks a lot.
Mini stock winner for week number 10 of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. Tommy, congratulations once more. Thanks for sticking around and chatting with us, and best of luck for the rest of the night.
All right, man. Hope to talk to you guys again soon.
Fourth win in the mini stocks. He is your championship leader after what is now a total of 7 division races. So we step aside now. The sun is going down. The lights are coming on. Legends are up next. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association on iRacing Live.
I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds. Punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different. And the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey, man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh, my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol, and then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
Back live from the Myrtle Beach Speedway in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where LSRTV's continuing coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series rolls on. It is the 10th week on this 2017-18 campaign, and we enter the middle of tonight's action, as you can see. And as we told you, the way it always is after the first 2 races on the night, we transition from late evening conditions, obviously, to nighttime conditions. And the sun is gone, the lights are on. It kind of changes up the dynamic of this just over a half a mile banked oval, and we get to see the Legends Division Coupe join us next up. They have only had 3 races so far this year. That ties the U-Cars division for the least amount of points races on the year. This is a series that Christian Peterson holds a 19-point lead in the standings on top of Brandon Wilkinson, P2.
Yeah, and I think it's the same story you hear every time you hear Christian in the race. You know, last night he won the Giro Modified opening division, which if you're interested in a Tuesday series, and then that one would be for you. But they run the mod cars on Tuesdays, and then he won that and has won a lot lately. I mean, I think since we've started covering the CEA's Wednesday night series, he's just been on a darn roll, and it's been really difficult to top him off. And I expect him to be coming into this race the favorite, probably come out being the winner. Really, a lot of the talk will be about all the other drivers, but look how many drivers we have in this race. I think we've got at least 17 drivers tonight.
And that's what I was just looking at. I believe we've had 21 drivers score points this season, 17 of which on track at the moment. I think it is going to be the biggest Legends Division field size that we've had so far this year. We'll introduce you to them all, though, top to bottom, with a look at our LSRTV starting the grid. Pole position in this one belongs to the 30 of Will Trevicki, who will qualify up front, and will be joined on the front row by the 58 machine of David Messier. Back on row 2, Brendan Wilkinson starts in third tonight, with Christian Peterson outside on that row, rolling off in fourth, and Randy Yoakum with a P5 qualifying effort.
Jody Green will start 6th in this race as well. Paul Henley starts 7th. Logan Gibson will start his machine, the 8th machine. Going to go fly high is going to be Gabe Wood in the 9th position. Then you've got Brian Simpson in 10th.
Jeremy Watkins will be starting 11th. 12th will be Kyle Laverne. 13th will be Matthew Tucker in that 43 machine. 14th will be Jonathan Lawrence. And number 15th will be DJ Beverly in the 15th position.
Final 2 cars to take time in this one, or I guess they're technically provisionals, but final 2 cars at the grid is the put up trying to get across. 16th spot tonight for Richard Reagan Jr. at a lone car back on row number 9. 17th is Rafe Slade. To look top to bottom, a LSRTV starting grid. Trevin talking about the size and the different kind of vehicles we see in this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series, talking about how those mini stocks are not necessarily oval cars. Well, these are, but they are very small and very fast, and it is no doubt going to be exciting, especially right off of the drop of the green flag here with them jammed down 2x2 to turn 1.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. These guys are small cars, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some 3-wide action even inside of these walls at Myrtle Beach Speedway with these cars. It's just going to be an exciting 25-lap event, and we're getting ready to go green as they funnel down into turn number 3.
Championship leader Christian Peterson missed the grid. He'll roll from pit road and will not start in 4th as we go racing. Big championship implications now on the line as we come into turn number 4 and take the green flag already. Pushing for the race lead. Wilkinson on the back of Trevicki. The Wilkinson is the biggest driver to gain here, second in the points. Peterson way down at the bottom of the pile, having not been able to get to the grid in time.
I don't even know if he's moving yet, to be 100% honest. I think he just now is leaving pit road. So yeah, quite the distance. He's gonna have to bank on a caution to really catch these guys. Not even the speed that he has to do that, but they're going side by side. And I'll tell you, on the start of that race, the 50 or the 26 of Brandon Wilkinson, he was already in second when they crossed the start-finish line. He had a great start, was right behind Will Dravicki on that start, and he's got himself a pretty good car here. The thing about these cars is they're light as well, so you get any kind of movement, any kind of quick hands. It's kind of like the mini stocks we just saw. Any quick sudden movement in these cars, you might go around. So definitely have to think about that as these cars continue to go around.
The top 2 are pulling away. Wilkinson technically started this thing in 3rd, but he was so much up the back end of the 30 machine of Trevicki off of the very good restart they both had that he very quickly assumed to P2. Lost a lot of time that time at a 4. Got a little bit too tight up on the wall as your race leaders catch up to our first little taste of lap traffic. The 43 of Matthew Tucker, 1 lap down already in 17th. Christian Peterson at the end of the lead lap is 16th position, but keep it on the 26 machine of Wilkinson. Again, best person in a position here to try to make up some of the 19 points back he has to Peterson. Nobody has won in the Legends car besides Christian Peterson this season.
Yeah, that might very well change if this continues to go the way it does here, Trevin. You know, with I think the 7 went around, that was Kyle Leveralt, and that could have caused a caution, but it didn't. But definitely looking for a lot of these drivers to try and get their best finish and try and dethrone Christian Peterson.
Oh yeah, Christian Peterson, just an absolute machine in this series, and we've had a few cars go around that didn't trigger cautions. We had the number 90 on lap 1 got contact with somebody, and then 40 of Richard Reagan Jr. got loose coming out of turn 2 on lap 3. So these cars are definitely going to be a troubling car to handle. And, you know, as you said earlier, you know, the slightest movement can send the car around, and we're seeing that happen early on in this race. But Will Dravicki still out in front. Second place will be battling between the number 26 of Brandon Wilkins and Jody Green, and excuse me, number 30. You know, it's just going to be an exciting race.
In the lap car, I don't know if it's slowing these guys down or what, because you're right, Jody Green from third is starting to close in a little bit, only 0.5 of a second off now, as the battle side by side for the race lead has gone on for some time. First time tonight. Oh, and the 30 is into the fence. Vicky had just lost the upper hand, and I was going to see first time tonight Wilkinson has the nose in front, and now he's completely clear. Not the first time that 30 has gotten a little bit tight off of the corner. That one costs him dearly, though, as Wilkinson goes to the race lead at lap 9.
Yeah, you got to say that that number 43 car of looks like Matthew Tucker, he's kind of getting in the way of these guys, not allowing them to use the full potential of the racetrack here as a lap car. It looks like Jody Green, who started from 6, and he's done this a couple times tonight in the series he's been a part of. He's kind of come up through the field and got quite a few positions. I'm sure he wants his chance to get the lead, and he started all the way back from 6, so he's one of the best drivers on the circuit right now, if you don't count Christian Peterson, who's moved all the way up to 14th from starting down pit road. But you know, that driver in the 13, I'd keep my eyes on him.
Creep it in, only 4 tenths out. It's really a top 3 showdown, because 4th position Randy Yoakum is now over 2.6 seconds.
A caution here on the racetrack on the front straightaway here, guys. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to be here for. We'll try and reboot the old... we'll get the old main commentator's batteries back in, so we'll have to see what's going on. But nevertheless here, Trevin, we've got ourselves a caution here.
Yeah, the number 12 and 42 just got together. 42 just went up and forgot that number 12 was up there, and you know, it just got collected and into the outside wall. Thankfully, nobody else got involved, but that leaves the number 26 of Brandon Wilkinson in the lead on lap number 13.
And what that does to us is that brings everybody to a slow halt after this caution flag, and you know what? This has got to be a huge sigh of relief for some of these drivers, including Christian Peterson, Kyle Leverall, who spun out earlier. But to drivers like Brandon Wilkinson, this is not something you really want to see happen, especially with as good as he was doing at that point. And I think we're going to get to the double file right here, right now. Evan, I think we got your new batteries in. You still clear over there?
That's a question for the service provider. We're doing all right if the red lights are gone, so we'll assume that's good for the time being, and it's a quick turnaround in this one. So quick yellow, right back to it again. There was really no mess to clean up, no lap cars that had to be tenured down onto the pit lane. So we'll do it again, pace car down and in, 14 laps complete. But with this, the shortest race on the night, Trevin, only 11 laps to go. Here we go at turn number 4.
Yeah, that number 26 is gonna wait for that green flag out in the air. 26 with that fantastic lead and a jump out there. Number 13 gonna try and track the number 26 down, along with that number 30 in third place position. But these cars are small and they're fast, so we'll see a lot of battling out for a lot of positions as that number 26 rocketed it out the start, Evan.
And single filing things up front, do we see the battle between the top 3 resume? Jody Green has been able to leapfrog Will Dravicki, and caution flag again. Problems this time on the back. Looks like the 16 of Paul Henley.
Yeah, a little bit of 3 wide action turned into 2 wide, and then he looks like the number 16 of Paul Henley assumed he was clear. I think that was 3 wide action with Christian Peterson, actually, who almost got caught up in all of that. And he just came up the track and assumed he was, or was told clear by a spotter. And that's one of your typical short track happenings here in the front straightaway, is driver getting turned a 180 into the wall going backwards. I'm sure that number 16 machine will be able to keep going, but might have a little bit of tow issue with the front end or maybe the rear end. But still running out here, 15 drivers on the lead lap here. And yeah, like we said just a little bit ago, short race, short laps, and quickly getting closer to the end of this one.
With it only being 25 laps, yeah, these yellows take a bigger portion or a bigger chunk out of the race, if you will, every single time we get a caution flag, which means that instead of a restart with 11 to go, the restart's going to be with about 6 or maybe even 7 or 8 laps to go, because we're going to get the lights out on top of the pace car this time around. Lucky Dog going to go to the number 43, Mr. Matthew Tucker. He will go from 2 to 1 lap down. No other major changes as we get set to go green once more. The drivers that time by choosing which lane they would work on. The 26 of Wilkinson is going to be on the bottom. No real surprise in that one. But let's see if Dravicki inside of road to third, exactly where he found the challenge from Wilkinson on the start of this race, can get back up to P2, and Jody Green in the number 2 spot right now outside of the front row, if can maybe defend, or if we'll drop to the number 30 Bashid. Here we go, though, 18 laps complete. We get set to put the loud pedal down again. Green flag flies. Dravicki can't jump on it, though, and Green maintains second.
Yeah, big move here from the number 26 and the 13 right here. Yeah, you said Dravicki had a good positioning, but definitely did not see that number 26 go off on that start-finish line, and he's doing a good job of trying to keep that inside going, and knows that lead. Look at the lead right here. 13's right here with these guys trying to get, right with Brandon right here, I should say. So Jody Green's got himself a fast car, but can he get around the 26 of Brandon Wilkinson?
Battle for third position behind is good as well. Randy Yoakum really pinching down Will Dravicki, the top 3 before these past 2 yellows. Wilkinson, Green, and Dravicki had pulled away quite a bit, so it's an impressive challenge from Yoakum. Not going to work out though. 30 clears, and now they both look for the race lead. Yellow again. Jody Green just spun out. The 13 just spun after the yellow.
Oh wow, big issues here, but yeah, 2 cars up and over, and 1 car had some serious hang time. I hope that's not our friend Gabe again, but it definitely very well could be. We'll have to see exactly what happened here, Trevin.
Yeah, short track racing at its finest, stuff can hit the fan very, very quickly, and we saw just 2 cars get end over end, and number 12 got in contact with that number 18 car. 18 just dove it down too quickly, and that number 12 got sent up into the fence. Now, as far as that other car that got around, I'm not too sure about him, but a lot of stuff happening, and then Legend Cars battles heating up in the Myrtle Beach series.
And that guys, Jody Green spun out.
I think what Evan was trying to say was that the 13 had spun after the caution had already flown. What Jody was trying to do is he was trying to get on those rumble strips to get by the 26, but had made too much of an effort to do that, and in doing that, it is going to send him around. But as we are trying to find Green in good batteries for the Evan Pashoko robot, we are going to be going Green for the last time tonight. Brandon Wilkinson will lead these guys to the green with Will Dravicki to the outside, Randy Yoakum and Gabe Wood 3rd and 4th, and oh, by the way, Christian Peterson 5th place right now inside the top 5. Green flag we go. Brandon Wilkinson will get these guys a great start, and he'll have 2 laps to see which one of these guys wins the race.
Brandon Wilkinson with a fantastic leap again off of that restart. He's just been fantastic with those restarts. He's keeping that distance out from that number 30 of Will Dravicki. I believe final lap in white flag in the air, excuse me, and he's just pedaling it out.
Look at Christian Peterson right behind these guys. Against Will Dravicki right here. He might actually be able to get the position, but right here, it looks like Brandon Wilkinson will come off corner number 4 and be the first driver to win. That's not Christian Peterson, and they wreck behind him. It looks like Christian Peterson will get that win, or will get that 2nd place position, but Brandon Wilkinson will get the victory here tonight, and they are all but wrecking behind them for the finish line.
Absolutely, what a finish for Brandon Wilkinson, Will Dravicki, and then Christian Peterson battling it out all this way from last to 3rd. That's fantastic. Is this close to finishing 2nd place, and what a race by Christian Peterson. Now we know why he is the dominant man in this series. We just saw everybody fighting for position behind him, and that unfortunately ended up with them wrecking behind them. But that was a fantastic finish for these Legends cars.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kyle Everalt was an absolute cannon going to turn number 3, and that's the reason why the number 4 of Brandon Yoakum went around. He selected that car into the 09, which crept up the track and got him. So we'll go through the full field rundown here as they finish unofficially. Looks like Brandon Wilkinson will win the race. He'll put his car in victory lane. Then you've got Will Draficki, who hangs on for second place just over Christian Peterson. Peterson gets third. Gabe Wood finishes fourth, and Jody Green will finish in the 5th position. Kyle Everalt 6th. Richard Reagan will finish 7th. Matthew Tucker 8th. Paul Henley in the 9th position, and then Jonathan Lawrence finishes 10th.
Finishing 11th will be Rafe Slate in that number 8 car, finishing 12th. David Messer behind him in that number 13th position will be Jeremy Watkins. 14th will be Randy Yoakum. 15th it goes to Logan Gibson. Brian Simpson is 16th, and rounding out your field will be the number 42 of DJ Beverly.
That rounds out your 17 car field, and we will take it down to victory lane, where we got up with Brendan Wilkinson, who has won the first race for you in this series, and first driver not Christian Peterson to win in this series. Brandon, how did that race go for you?
Yeah, starting third, just thought we needed to get to the front there early, and Dravecki's, he's a little bit tick off, but he's no slouch either. So I know with CP starting in the pits there, we just needed a solid 15 laps to go green, and able to get to the lead, and Jody got a good restart there the last time, but other than that, we were able to get good restarts all night. I had a good spotter in my ear. James Milwaukee helped a lot, and we were able to just put it all together and bring it home.
Now, whenever we talk about this, the difference in speed that you, Peterson, and then a lot of other drivers, how in particular do you just really master a track like this in these cars?
Just, a lot of seat time. Even in a late model U-car, street stock, whatever I run here, you kind of just get a sense of the line, and that's really all it's about, just hitting your marks. It's really all the same mark for me. I know the speed's a lot different, and saving tires is different, but the races you go all out, the twin 35s versus the 125 race you have in a legend car, it's just similar to me. I have a good driving style, and we just had a really good car and something that really fit my driving style.
All right, well, we'll let you go. Any thanks, shout-outs you have to give out there for you?
Yeah, for sure. I got to thank James Milbacher for spotting, Blaze Enterprises for the wrap, Scott Eckert's Chassis, Dead Zone Racing, and most importantly, Kirkwood Transportation Services. They've been a sponsor on the late model and on the street stock all year, and just want to get my well wishes to Connor Blaze, not doing too well. Everybody's sending him well wishes, and hope he can come back soon.
All right, there you have it, 26 of Brendan Wilkinson. We might be able to speak with you perhaps one more time before the evening is over, and we will... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Brandon, but we are going to continue on the night. We're going to go late model racing here. This race had drivers up and over, and we will hopefully have all cars planted here in the next late model series. You won't want to miss a moment of it. This has been LSRTV, your home for sim racing. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Chris Page. I work here at iRacing. Been here 2 days before launch, actually, is when I got started. So we have developers working on front-end web development. We have back-end guys specializing there. We have DevOps that are dealing with networking, servers, a database team, so many different teams because there's lots of different work to do. The new user interface, which we call Scorpio internally, is a complete overhaul. So in the case of results, the way that it has historically worked is you would request results. The request would be sent to the server, which would then query the database, compile that, and send it back. What we're doing now is Whenever we get the results of a race, we'll compile those results and push them up as a static page cached so that when you need it, it's available for you. It doesn't need to be computed on the fly. It will be much faster and scale much better. Just began with reimagining the website. We took a step back and said, how do people use this? How do people want to use it? And our initial vision of leveraging the web and getting your stats there, finding out a schedule and joining, that was a good one. And we want to continue to support that as much as possible. We're also making a change so that you'll be able to just double click on the application and fire up and go racing that way. Jump from one race to the next without even leaving the application. The good news is this is a whole new infrastructure, so we'll be able to release it in parallel, and you'll be able to use the existing member site you're comfortable with, but still fire up the application and get the new experience. And that will really help us, because as good of a job we've done, there's still things we can learn. And by running it in parallel, we'll be able to collect that data and make it an even better experience. We'll be able to learn by your input. So with the preview of the user interface, you'll be able to use the new feature Time Attack and be able to experience some of the existing functionality, but we still haven't done everything, and that will come over time. We're going to have tighter integration with the sim in the back end than we ever have before. So as an example, in Time Attack, whenever there's a new best lap time, we take that lap data and we push it up into the cloud. What then happens is when you're in Time Attack, you're launching a session, you can pick anyone's best lap time and race against it, whether that be a friend or the leader in your current competition. When you fire up the sim, it will pull down that data and you can race against that lap time. We're looking forward to getting this out to you because we've been working on it for a really long time. But we're super excited about where we're going because this is only the beginning.
Welcome back live to the Myrtle Beach Speedway, where our coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association continues here tonight from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. 3 races down. I've seen 3 drivers parking in victory lane so far to this point. Continue on into the evening to the longest race tonight. The Blue Ridge Napa Late Models Division is with us. Still happy that you're hanging out on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Evan Pasoko, Austin Coop, Trevor Boulder on the top side with you. With Cisco Scarosa downstairs and Coop. The main event now due up. The biggest field on a weekly basis is these late models. The most competitive division on a weekly basis is these late models. And they're here to do battle as everybody tries to chase down championship leader Matt Cucker.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about Matt is that he's won the most races, and he's ran one less race than the 2 guys behind him, which is Wilkinson and Peterson. And it does appear that Connor Blaze will not have a shot at racing tonight. Unsure what the reason is. Heard Wilkinson talk just a little bit about it, but Wilkinson has definitely turned over some really, really good races lately, not just in the late models. So I'll be looking to see him and how he does. I mean, he's in front of Christian Peterson in the points by a good margin. And I think that has to do with some of the finishes that Peterson's had over the series. But Matt Cucker's done an absolute job of really getting himself in the position when it matters the most. I mean, 6 wins is huge.
6 wins compared to the second highest, Christian Peterson, who has 2 wins in these cars. 1 win apiece to Brandon Wilkinson and Tommy Ryan. Those drivers make up the top 4 in points. Highest driver in the standings without a trip to victory lane is Jeremy Adams. So we'll see if we can add another name to that roster, or if the dominant duo can continue. We take a look top to bottom at your LSRTV starting grid. Christian Peterson's in a good spot to make up something tonight. He'll roll off from pole position. Alongside with the 13 of Jody Green, who starts tonight in P2. Brandon Wilkinson, though, right there on the doorstep in 3rd position. It could be a very well fought out battle for 2nd in the points, if not anything else. With Ray Ruckert in P4, and the man of the hour, Matt Cucker, top of it all, runs in P5.
Then you start looking back. Tommy Ryan will start in the 6th position. Tanner Cook, 7th. Jeremy Adams, they'll start in the 8th position. You've got Will Dravicki and Charlie Melvin. They'll start out in the top 10.
11th place goes to number 15 of Ricky Harden. 12th place will go to DJ Beverly. 13th, Randy Yoakum. 14th, Jonathan Smith. And 15th, a familiar face in the 09, Gabriel Wood.
Tyler Lugo victory will start tonight in 16th position. Robbie Bubbin will roll from the 17th. Everyone, 18th. Point one is 18 and 20. It's Jonathan Lawrence.
And finishing out in the field, Kyle Everalt starts 21st, Jacob Porter 22nd, and Richard Reagan Jr. will round out the 23-car field here, Evan.
Your LSRTV.
And as he was saying, that's going to round out the grid tonight. We're gonna try and figure out what's going on. I don't know if it'll be solved before the end of night for Mr. Pasoko, but Christian Peterson, he's in a great position to rebound after the last few weeks in this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. Jody Green's got himself a really good spot here as well. Pace car is off and away, and Christian Peterson will lead these guys on for 60 laps here in this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. Blue Ridge Auto Parts Late Model Stock Series. And here they go. Green flag is up in the air, and they go side by side down into turn number 1 for the 60-lap feature.
Got a little stacking up on both lanes, but all in all, everybody got through rather well. Number 82 is going to get bumped up to the high side a little bit. That was he got loose or something. But Christian Peterson out in front with a solid commanding lead. Matt Cucker trying to look his way into the top 3 as the number 96 and 82 do make contact in the middle of 1 and 2. So we'll look for more battles between them two. Christian Peterson, if you remember, he ran that Legends division and he came up short on that finish, so he's going to be looking for redemption on this 60-lap feature.
And the two that made contact, that's Red Ruckert and Tanner Cook, and you can just see the 13 is falling back rather quickly right here. Had a really good qualifying effort, but right now he's really falling back fairly quickly, might I add. And they almost went 3 wide there for a second. Looks like the 6 behind him, that's Tommy Ryan, got in the wall just slightly. And so it looks like Ruckert, he's going to also fall back just a little bit. And then Wilkinson, he's going to lose a position, and both in all to Tanner Cook right here, who's in the 4th position. He's up from 7th position already to 4th position, so really good for him. And also Matt Cucker's done the same, got the same amount of positions, and he's in 2nd place right now.
Yeah, just great racing up ahead as Matt Cucker tries to set his sights on number 23 of Christian Peterson, looking a little bit further back with the number 89 and 26 battling it out for that 5th place position. He's got a whole entire gaggle of cars behind him, about 6 cars for that battle right there, if you call it that, as just the cars just battling it out as they're going to start burning their tires off rather quickly. And they do not have any tires in the pits. They have to go 60 laps on the same set of tires. So we'll see which drivers can conserve better. And we have a contact.
That's going to be Jeremy Adams. Contact between him and I think it was the driver I was talking about a little bit earlier, Wade Ruckert. He got into the wall on the outside of turn number 4 and went right into that 89 machine. Really bad luck for that number 89 of Jeremy Adams here in the front straight. And we're 3 wide with him still. Looks like he's holding up these drivers behind him here in turn number 1. That's going to be Jody Green, and he might lose it on his own here in turn number 2. He's going to almost spin out. Looks like he somehow is able to keep it going, and he's actually going to run that car down pit road. He's done.
Yeah, he's going to call it a night, but there's a lot of skill behind all these drivers in here. It's just impressive to see them all handle their cars very well and able to keep their composure under situations like this, as we see that number 13 of Jody Green still leading that pack for 5th place. So we see all the cars behind them. 15th and 26th, or excuse me, number 15 and 26 kind of get a little bit together, with Christian Peterson still out in front of all of this mess behind him. Matt Cucker trying to find his way around that 1st place position.
And Matt Cucker's been an absolute all-star in this series or the entire series. He's just been absolutely consistent and winning races. On top of that, he's won 6 of his 10 starts, and in all of his 10 starts, he's been in the top 10. And those guys, I mean, that's an amazing scorecard to have, a dominant performance week in and week out. And I'm sure he wants to put another one on that one, make it 7 for 11 here on the night. If you look outside the top 4, it's going to be Brandon Wilkinson barely edging out the 15 and Ricky Harden, and then Harden and Jody Green. They'll go side by side. This is some good fighting here, just inside and just outside the top 5. You're also seeing Gabe Wood start to get into this mess as well. And this is a big pack right here. You also see the 54 of Charlie Melvin in this one as well.
Yeah, they're all battling it out for that one position, and that looks to be fifth position as they're all fighting it out for, as we have quite a few cars battling it out for this position as well. As we see number 54 and 42, that's the number, or excuse me, that's Charlie Melvin and DJ Beverly going side by side back there, as we're seeing already some beating and banging at the Myrtle Beach Speedway, and that comes a part of the short track racings, and I'm sure that's not going to be the end of all the beating and banging that we're going to be seeing tonight here at this short 0.5 of a mile track. As we look up to the front again, Matt Cucker still holding on that second place, trying to get to Christian Peterson, number 96 as well, trying to get around that number 69. We see all these familiar faces up front, and you know, they're just going to try and keep on battling it out to that checkered flag.
And Tanner Cook is a driver who's inside the top 10. He's actually in 10th position. Got 4 positions last week in points, and he's been doing a really good job. In fact, so good that it looks like the 96 is actually just going to let him by. And while that happens, a caution is going to come out, and so that will put a hold on this race for the time being.
Yeah, as we're trying to figure out where that caution came from, not really too sure, but you know, short track racing will come with quite a bit of cautions, and you know, Randy Yoakum seems to be the cause of the caution. Austin.
Yeah, so they're gonna re-rack, restack these drivers once again, and pace cars are gonna pick them up right here. And you know, one thing you got to think about whenever you re-rack and restack is that you're going to have some really hungry drivers right behind you. You know, and also got to remember that pit road is open for these drivers, you know, but they're not able to take tires like you discussed earlier. So going to be, looks like going to have around 43, maybe 44 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, as we were talking, that number 4 car, he did end up spinning out on that bottom lane, and then that was caused the caution. As talking about hungry drivers, you have got a whole bunch of people now back condensed into that short amount of time, as we are coming to 2 to go, and the cone car will be coming out, and that will be deciding which lane these drivers want to go through. And you know, speaking of hungry drivers, these guys are all hungry for that win. As you said earlier, Matt Cucker wants to tack on 7 for 11, and also all these guys that haven't gotten a win want to go for this win, and it's just fantastic to see all these guys battle. And it is a hard charging field. These guys never let the crowd down, as the number 23 is going to choose to go up to the high side, that preferred lane. Matt Cucker behind him, and the number 96 will be choosing to go to that bottom lane. Behind him will be that number 30 on that bottom lane of Will Druvicki. So we're going to be coming up to this green flag, as this is our first caution, lap 20. 60 laps is going to be quite a great race, as longest race on the schedule for tonight. We're coming to the green flag, coming into turn 3, about to come out of turn 4 for that number 23 of Christian Peterson to take that green flag, as we're waiting. And here he goes, ethanol green flag in the air, as 23 gets a fantastic jump into turn number 1. Number 96 going to try and beat out Matt Cucker, as they're still side by side coming down the back stretch.
Yeah, it looks like Christian Peterson's got himself a really good jump on the field, and then you got to then you look at Tanner Cook, who had just got the position from Matt Cucker at any point, and that was given to him, that second place position. And now you think Matt Cucker may have wanted to maybe should have done that, because he gave it back, and as soon as that happened, that caution flag came out, and really kind of made it so that he's going to have to really fight for this position. Then you look behind him, Ricky Harden. He's always kind of been lurking inside or just outside the top 5. He's right there as well. and then you look even farther, and look at him right now. He's actually going to try and battle for position. Oh, we got a lot of contact area. Oh, car around on the back straightaway. Caution is going to be out. This is going to be a big wreck in turn number 3.
A big wreck indeed, as you see that number 6 get loose and then contact with that number 42 machine into the outside, while the 42 machine went and collected a lot of people behind them, basically a parking lot behind them. That's the thing about short track racing, you know, when you get a wreck and it's a whole bunch of cars, it's hard to avoid them, and we saw that happen right there with that number 6 getting that number 42 machine. And you see maybe some struggle with the tires trying to handle, as we know that they can't get any tires in 23 laps on these tires already, and already starting to see some drivers get loose, and they still have quite a few laps to go.
Yeah, they're going to have two laps to go here. The cone's going to come out, and I'll say that the last time the cone came out, it actually was pretty decisive what those guys did. You know, Peterson went at the top side because that was going to help him, but I was surprised that maybe Tanner didn't do that too. You know, I was surprised that Tanner didn't go to the top side and maybe think that, you know, that's going to be where the momentum is, and you can see the leader go off the green flag, but perhaps being in second is going to be better than third. So we'll just have to see what they do this time around. I really like watching these guys go around the cone car, just because you never know exactly what they're going to do. And I think Matt Cucker, he is going to take the bottom right here. So Christian Peterson, Matt Cucker are going to be in the front row, and then you will have Tanner Cook on the outside. So we'll just have to see what he's able to do here as they are double filing behind the pace car.
Yeah, interesting choice by Matt Cucker. We really see him favor that top lane, so we'll see how that goes, as the pace car is going to try and pull off and out of the way, and get out of harm's way, as we're coming in turn 3, coming out of 4, getting ready for that green flag in the air. And Christian Peterson getting ready for that green flag, getting ready for another great start, trying to get it. There he goes. Great jump by the number 23 of Christian Peterson. Matt Cucker left in the dust. He's going to try and get back all that time that he just lost, as we see 2 by 2 behind him between that number 96. And caution comes out again. Big wreck in 1.
Yeah, we're going to have a big wreck here in 1, and definitely get the replay up here pretty quick. And there, a quick yellow, or a quick caution period, is going to go back to a quick yellow right here in front. Turn number 1, looks like just a couple cars got knocked around here in turn number 1.
Yeah, you know, trying to fight for that position, and short track racing, you know, fighting for a position that isn't really there. That number 86 got into the back of the number 87, and the 87 just went into that number 90, and you know, just a lot of chaos ensued, and that brings out our 3rd caution on the night, I believe. And just a hard racing out here tonight, Austin.
And while we're under caution, we have almost half the race done, and I think it might be a good time to give a shout out to our friends at Joel Real Timing. Coverage of the Cars Esport Tours brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing software of LSRTV. Whether you spend time on the sim behind the wheel or on the spotter box, JRT is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. Get yourself a basic download or get the pro version today at joel-real-timing.com. And looks like the cone car once again, I think it's out there. Yes, it's right there on the start finish line waiting for these guys to go around. These are quick caution periods, and you know the saying, cautions breed cautions, and gonna really have I think these guys are gonna calm down here just a second, Trevin. I don't know, maybe not, we'll have to see.
No.
Did the pace car did the cone car get hit?
I did not see. I don't. Okay, we're trying to see. My bad. I was behind the.
Yeah, they're gonna stay under caution here, Trevin, and I have a feeling hitting the cone car is going to put you at the rear end of the line. So that is one of the most easiest and one of the silliest mistakes you can have. Matt Cucker's got to be kicking himself for this one. But I think that's not the only car that's injured in this one. I think Tanner Cook actually has a little bit of damage, so that not only hurts one driver, that's going to hurt a couple, and that does put him in the very back, I think. So penalty for that is definitely going to ensue.
Absolutely, as Matt Cooker just has to be kicking himself, as you said, and that's just indecisive right there. And you know, that's going to cost him a big penalty, as that also sent him up into that number 96, as you said earlier, and that's got to be troubling for that number 96, that innocent bystander, the wrong place, wrong time guy, and that's just going to be hard, as they're going to stand under caution and re-rack him.
Yeah, coming out of turn number 4, these guys will see what they can do this time around. Will Dravicki on the inside. Christian Peterson, though, getting a great start, and the inside's not going as well as they'd like to. And let's see what Tanner Cook can do out of turn number 2. He's not going to be able to get Dravicki right here, and Dravicki's had himself a really good night right now. He's already in 2nd position. He started in the 9th position. He's one of the bigger movers tonight, except for Tyler Lugo Vickery, who's from 16th to 6th up 10 positions so far. But as, we got another on the wall. Caution, big. Gabe Wood in the front. He's right in the inside wall, so another caution coming into turn number 1. I think Gabe's engine's blowing right there, so that's going to be pretty big issues for him as well. And then Jody Green as well.
Yeah, that number 3 car just tried to win for real estate again. That wasn't there, and just went up to that number 13 of Jody Green, Jacob Porter, down into Jody Green, as that collects a whole entire gaggle of cars, and another parking lot again, as that number 09 of Gabriel Wood is definitely beat up, and a lot of cars that didn't want to be in that field or inside that incident. It's really hard to avoid wrecks like this that just spread across the whole entire track, and there's really nowhere else to go except for a wall. So you just gotta pray and hope you make it through it. And some of these cars just didn't make it out, and that's got to be heartbreak to their night.
I think at a certain point in this race, we've got to talk about who is where, because we've had so many cautions that a lot of drivers have kind of jumbled up. So we kind of go through the field as they stand. Christian Peterson, Will Dravicki is 1st and 2nd. Then you've got Tanner Cook, Brandon Wilkinson, Ricky Hart in your top 5. Then you've got Tyler Lugo Vickery, Jeremy Adams, Roy Blum, Jonathan Smith, and then you've got Kyle Everalt as well. And then you've got a long list of drivers who have had issues too, including a few that are out of the race. You've got Wade Ruckard in the 24th position. Then you've got Randy Oken, DJ Beverly, Gabe Wood just got added to that list, Charlie Melvin. I mean, there's been a lot of issues tonight, a lot of cautions that have really started to dumbfound these drivers, but the drivers that are really liking it are those drivers up front, like Peterson. Then you've also got to look at Tanner Cook, Dravicki, Wilkinson, Harden. They've kind of been there all night.
Yeah, and all these drivers definitely did get jumbled up after all these cautions, as the cone car is back out on track. So let's see if anybody ends up hitting him this time. As Matt Cooker back up into 15th place, as we're going to see where Christian Peterson decides to go. He's going to go up top. Will Dravicki down to the bottom, as per usual, as everybody seems to be making it by very cleanly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're good on that. Back up to the front.
I tell you what, though, Trev, and it's making it really hard on the pace car driver and the cone car driver coming out so many times during this race.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine what it's like to be a pace car driver at this race.
Well, weird how that thing works out.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're going to be coming out of turn number 4, and we're going to have a little bit of fun here with a little bit over 20 laps to go. Will Dravicki's going to try and play spoiler, but he's had some pretty poor restarts. This one's going to add to that list, and Christian Peterson is going to go uncontested in turn number 1. And look at Tanner Cook on the outside. He's going to have his entire front fender right in front of him right there. He's going to be able to still contest position right here. Battle's on for 2nd. Christian Peterson's gone.
Yeah, these restarts here are just being dominated by Christian Peterson, and if Will Dravicki wants another shot at this point with the restarts, he's gonna have to get on that loud pedal very quickly, as Christian Peterson is just leaving people in the dust, and it's gonna be very hard for them to get up to that Christian Peterson with all the restarts that he's having. And number 96, Tanner Cook, trying to get by as well. Number 26, trying to wait.
Wilkinson.
Yeah, 26. Yeah, Wilkinson. My bad. Trying to get into the battle as well, and you know, now number 96 going to try and get below the number 30 of Will Dravicki, and looks like he's going to get it complete, maybe. So you asked me if they're going to start calming down. I do not think this is the case, because we're starting to see more battles ramp up towards this end of the race, and it's just getting great.
I'll tell you what, it's hard to pass at this place on the bottom, especially when you've got someone who's so good on the top side. Looks like the 96 gets a little loose on the entrance of the corner. It's going to go 3 wide out of turn number 2, and looks like the number 96 is going to lose out big time on that. Got a little greedy in the turn and did not let it, looks like he's also going to get just a little bit into Jeremy Adams right there, which, holy cow, Jeremy Adams is right back into this thing. Jeremy Adams had spun out and got into the inside wall and not too long ago, so he is doing battle on the outside of Tanner Cook right now, and what a battle they're having. What a day Jeremy Adams had. What seemed like to be one of those, it seemed to be a bad race is now coming back to be good for him, and all this smoke is coming from Kyle Leveralt too, blowing his engine a little bit earlier, so still battling for the top 5 right here.
Oh yeah, and that number 96 of Tanner Cook is trying to make that bottom work. He goes up into the 89. 89 getting sideways again. Oh, you were just talking about it. And caution comes out in wreck on the 4th, and you were just talking about him. You know, that was just heartbreak for him, and he'd worked so hard to get back up into that position, Jeremy Adams, and he just gets contacted again, and that pace car has to come back out again. How is that for you, Austin?
Yeah, he's immediately going to go to the very back of the field. That was definitely on him. And then Tyler Lugo-Vickery decided, you know what? I'm not going to play prisoner anymore. Lugo-Vickery's had a very, very, very rough season this season. I've been following it pretty closely with him as he's been running in the series. But he is now in a really good position. He's in the top 5, and quite frankly, he's in a really good position just to, even if he just sits where he's at and doesn't move any farther forward. I think this will be one of his best finishes this season. But the 4 in front of him, they're all hungry for a win, and I think he might be too. I don't think he's done. I think you'd be taking racer away from somebody if you said, "All right, you're in the top 5, now stop." I think he's going to still keep going here.
Yeah, and as we see Matt Cucker now back into the top 10. He's actually 9th place now, and after that incident that he had with the cone car, very, very well working his way back up into the top 10. That's a fantastic job by him, showing why he dominates inside of this series, and it's just a fantastic, fantastic way to watch him battle back from that incident they had with the cone car. Christian Peterson still up in front, and Will Dravicki trying to get a better restart going for him, and we'll see how this one works out for him.
Tell you what, Peterson was probably wanting this race to go green the rest of the way for a number of reasons. But definitely the first reason is because he was the leader, and he had definitely pulled a good lead between these guys. If anyone just has a mistake or gets a little greedy, it could really hurt him. But also because Matt Cucker, with these restarts, can definitely get more positions if he's sly enough and gets through the field. There's a lot of wrecked cars through this field. I mean, I'm sure a few of them in the top 10 are still low on power throughout this race. So I think that's something you've got to think about if you're Peterson. That he can't control that, of course, but it'd be helpful if it could go green the rest of the way for him and for a lot of other drivers too. I know if you're talking about Dravicki, Wilkinson, those 2 drivers kind of wanted to go green because they're in good positions right now to still battle out between themselves and Peterson here.
Yeah, absolutely, as Peterson chose to do the top side again, and Will Dravicki on the bottom. Let's see if Will Dravicki can get a slightly better restart on him. Behind him will be number 15 of Ricky Harden, and then up on the top side will be Brandon Wilkinson. So we'll see how these guys battle it out as they come for the green flag. 10 laps to go, or 10 or 11 laps to go at the line, as we see number 23 get a fantastic start again. 15 bump that number 26, number 30, saying let's go. Will Dravicki now battling it out with that number 26 car. 26 on the top side, trying to clear him going down the back stretch. Going to stay side by side going into turn number 3. 15 trying to get into the mix there.
And look at Wilkinson on the top side, making it work just a little bit, and I think the 30 of Will Dravicki is definitely trying to just salvage right now. 3 wide going into turn 1 as well. And look at the 26, big power move off the corner, but looks like Dravicki right now, he's heads up with him. 10 laps to go. We're coming to, looks like 9 laps to go here this time around. And of course, all the action's behind Peterson. I mean, like I said earlier, he just wants the race to go green the rest of the way. But look at, I think Cucker's still in 9th place. I don't think there's been any big head move or head room for him. But look at the 26 right here. Brandon Wilkinson, he does clear the number 30 of Will Dravicki just barely in the back straightaway. Dravicki gets a nose in, but it's a powertrain on the outside line right here. And look at Tommy Ryan from 6. He went falling back, and he's back into the top 5 of this thing, and really has a opportunity to get a position from Will Dravicki on the outside if it continues this way.
And Christian Peterson absolutely loves to see all this battling behind him, because that just means he can run away quicker. Now, all these drivers behind him definitely want another caution, but if it happens within a certain amount of laps left, they will not be restarting. So these guys are definitely going to have to fight out harder and harder, as Christian Peterson loves to see all the fighting, because he's just going to run away quicker as the 26 trying to catch back up to him. But Christian Peterson just has a fantastic 0.6-second lead, or now 0.7-second lead ahead of that second place position.
Yeah, he almost has the position over the 15 of Ricky Harden right here, but he's got to go a few more laps before he can actually get clear of him. That side-by-side battle is great. 5 laps to go for Christian Peterson. I don't think there's anybody who's able to touch him right now, but the battle is behind him. All eyes are behind, and this battle for second is one I don't think we should lose track of, because that 15 on the outside is doing such a good job right here, and the 26 on the inside is doing such a good job. Wilkinson versus Harden right here, and oh, look behind him. Tommy Ryan's up a few positions. I told you he might get around the number 30 Will Dravicki, and he sure did. He's in 4th position right now, and oh, second place gets a little too heavy right there, and oh, I don't know how that happened. How did they not wreck?
Again, fantastic. Oh, 15 sideways. Oh my gosh, how do they handle these cars? Fantastic saves all around on that lap. I was just going to mention Matt Cucker falling back a few positions, but this is way, way exciting. 30 up into the outside wall. Is still green. Christian Peterson is loving this, as now he has a 2-second lead ahead of them, and it's just getting crazy from here on out.
2 laps to go, and my gosh, how the things have changed. Tommy Ryan and Tyler Lugo Vickery had the door wide open for both of them, and looks like Brendan Wilkinson will easily get that position right back from Lugo Vickery. And Vickery's just got to hold on another lap, and he's going to have probably going to have a really good race. I'm sure he's going to be really, really happy about this. White flag is in the air. Christian Peterson, once again, will probably become a winner if he just navigates 2 more corners, and if he knows he's 2.5 seconds ahead, he'll just slow down and easily get the checkered flag. So around turn number 4, pick up another checkered flag, and definitely going to be a happy man after this one. And the running order, those guys behind him single filed out with Tommy Ryan, Wilkinson, Lugo Vickery, and Harden as your top 5. And a caution-filled race, and for a lot of these drivers, I think they're going to have a lot of conversations after this one. But race ends, and another win for Christian Peterson.
Yeah, tack that number 3 on for Christian Peterson for the win charts, as he's going to burn it down in front of Myrtle Beach Speedway crowd. And that was just a fantastic, dominating performance in this caution-filled race, as you mentioned, and just fantastic racing, and fantastic restarts also by him, being able to dominate going into turn number 1 and just keeping it above as he's burning it down for these fans here tonight.
It was fantastic, wasn't it, Trevin? But before we do our full field rundown, we will give a big shout out to Blue Ridge Napa. Coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series is brought to you by Blue Ridge Napa of Fort Chiswell, Virginia. Napa is your trusted source for automotive parts, accessories, and know-how for your car, truck, or SUV. You can shop online for original OEM replacement parts at NapaOnline.com. Christian Peterson gets the victory. We'll talk to him in just a second. Tommy Ryan finished the night 2nd. Brandon Wilkinson finished 3rd, where he started. Lugo Vickery, biggest mover of the night, 16th to 4th. Ricky Harden finished 5th.
Finishing 6th will be Jeremy Adams. Finishing 7th, Jonathan Smith. Finishing 8th, Robbie Bunden. Finishing 9th, Tanner Cook, and Will Dravicki rounding out your top 10.
Finishing in the 11th position, Jeremy Watkins. Richard Reagan finishes 12th. Behind him, Roy Blum, Jonathan Lawrence, 13th and 14th. And then Matt Cucker actually finished in the 15th position. Big moves by those guys up front. It's going to mean a big championship points deduction on that lead.
And that's where your lead lap finishes, as we now start with 18 laps down of Kyle Levert finishing 16th. Finishing 17th will be Jody Green. 18th will be Jacob Porter. Gabriel Wood 19th. Charlie Melvin 20th, and DJ Beverly 21st. 23rd goes to Randy Yoakum, and rounding out your field, Wade Rookard finishing 25th.
As we look at your full field rundown, we'll go to Victory Lane and join Christian Peterson. Christian, welcome to Victory Lane once again for your third victory, I think, on the season for these late models.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a great race. I think we went flag to flag there. A lot of restarts, a lot of stress there with the restarts, and got it done though there on the outside with all those, and what happened with Cucker there was a little crazy, but that sucks for him, and but it's kind of what I needed. I'm not wishing any bad luck on him or anything, but we always want to fight hard and race hard to the flag, but got to make up 80 point gap here in the last couple weeks, and we're going to try to do that. So we need maybe one more of those, and if we can win that one, and we'll see what happens. But fun race, 60 laps. It was nice for a change to have a little longer run, a little longer race there in these cars. So that was nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you that the big thing for you is, I don't know if you know this, but this is the first race that Matt Cucker did not finish in the top 10, which is obviously a big help for you in points. You get the bonus points, you get the win, and even Wilkinson starts to gain a little bit on him too. It's a big dent, and I'm sure that's going to be one of the biggest headlines going the next week, is that you guys are making some headway towards him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Wilkes got third there, so I'm not going to gain too much on him. I think there's some bonus points for winning and that ordeal, so maybe we gained a little bit on him too, but we're just trying to take some chunks out of Cucker's lead there and see if we can battle it down to the end at the end of the season.
Well, before we let you go, Christian, who makes it happen for you in that 23 machine?
Just everybody at Vincier, 6-man, everybody at Beast Racing, all the guys that show up. We had a good field tonight. Looking forward to the U-Car race. This is going to be interesting. I think there's like 30 cars in this, so it's going to be a blast. But yeah, just everybody who shows up, all you guys for putting on the show, and yeah.
Yeah, I think me and Trevin are going to be joining you in those, and we'll be in the headsets as well, and we'll have some fun with you out there.
Awesome. Also, I got to shout out my parents and my buddy Tyler. I think he's watching at home, and a couple other guys are watching, I know. So shout out to those guys, and yeah, look forward to the next one.
All right, well, we'll see you there, and well, Trevin, it's time to for you and I to get some helmets on and to get into these Pontiac Solstices and join these guys.
Oh yeah, looking for redemption after the first time we were out. So going to be quite the experience out there, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, we'll put the damper on all the points events here, and I think this one not just for points too, but it's a lot of fun nonetheless. I think the one everyone is trying to chase here is Gabe Wood, and if I don't have a crack at him this week, I'm gonna have to fight him or something like that. But we'll see all of you on the other side here, as we'll have a little bit of a rumble with these Pontiac Solstice Surfers for the U-Car division here on LSRTV.
Welcome back live to the Myrtle Beach Speedway, where LSRTV's continuing coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series, presented with the Championship Esports Association, rolls on into the climax on the evening. Just stepped aside and you saw the conclusion to our Blue Ridge Napa Late Models Division event. We saw a not too surprising trip to victory lane for Christian Peterson. He joins race winners tonight, Brandon Wilkinson, Tommy Ryan, and as well Kyle Barnes on trips to victory lane. And we close out the night with the fan favorite, the U cars, as we welcome you back in topside. I will be in the safety of the booth for this one. Trevor Valderrama, Austin Coop going to be down trackside and involved in this one. And I know that Trevin, kind of like what happened last time I was out there as well, just looking to survive this thing. But Coop, I think that you actually have a legitimate shot at not doing terrible.
I did win one of these, so I do have a little bit of that under my belt. I think my goal in particular is to make sure Gabe doesn't win another one, because I gotta give it to him. I mean, he's figured something out in these cars that some, including myself, and I'm trying to find that little extra bit of speed. And not only is he fast, he's able to navigate traffic, and so that's the guy I want to make sure doesn't win. Obviously, me and him have a good, fun rivalry, but in general, I just think getting through the gearbox, getting from second to third on the restarts is going to be really important. I guess I'm now on TV now in my car just rolling around, but Gabe's behind me here. But, you know, it's just really fun with this series. You know, there are points on the line, but I think this is just a really, really fun series to run every week.
We'll see how it plays out. They're not longer, certainly 25 laps.
Looks like we got Cisco up in the booth here, yeah? You there, Cisco?
It's been that kind of day. All right, I guess it's gonna be me doing it. That's fine. It's
all right.
Yeah, this is the
Evan
Evan bot I think has finally run out of batteries now. But we'll take a look at your LSRTV starting grid nonetheless. Starting on pole is the 66 of Jonathan Lawrence. Ricky Harden going to start second. Third going to go to Austin Coop in the 53. Fourth place going to go to Tanner Cook. Starting fifth is going to go to Jeremy Adams. Sixth going to go to the driver of Randy Yoakum. Seventh going to go to Will Dravicki. Eighth to Jeff Grayson. Ninth going to go to Christian Peterson. 10th to James Millebachler. 11th going to go to Matt Cucker. 12th to Brandon Wilkinson. 13th to Jeremy Watkins. 14th going to go to Robbie Bundon. 15th to Tyler Lugo Vickery. 16th going to go to Rory Blum. 17th to Kyle Leverall. 18th to Tommy Ryan. 19th to Trevin Valderrama. Jody Green rounding out your top 20. 21st gonna go to Charlie Melvin. Gabriel Wood takes the EOL to start 22nd with Kyle Barnes 23rd. And you guys heading out on track right now. And pretty good starting position for you there, Gabe, as we're gonna get ready to stack them.
Who am I?
Gabe?
Who am I?
Gabe?
No.
It's gonna be that. Well,
I don't want to hear anything now.
But yes, I do.
No, we're not going to hear anything from Evan because his packet dropped again. So, well, I guess
and
Evan's
he's gone.
He's done.
Yeah,
so.
I do have a really good starting position here right on the outside. The only bad thing is that I can't see that far on the inside. So that's kind of the difficult part about being here.
Well, it looks like a very weird Indy 500 out there, but nonetheless, they are going to start 3 abreast. And it's going to be the field in the hands of the driver on the bottom, the number 66 of Jonathan Lawrence. Coop's going to be starting in that 53 up on the top side. And Trevin is in the 02 way back in your field on the last full row. So we'll have to see how he's going to come through the field. But the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car is pulled off to the safety of pit row. He's heading for the hills right now because this is going to be a heck of a race. Green flag in the air. 15's off and away. The 66 did not go. Checks up the field. They go 4 wide. We're not even into turn number 1, and it all went wrong for the 66 in the gear shift. And next thing we know, new leader Ricky Harden, and they're already spinning behind. The 22 goes around, still staying green here.
I think all those cars that wrecked are off track, so you guys are good up front, but Tanner Cook's on a pit road, Christian Peterson's on pit road, the wrong pit road, I might add, the one on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and Austin now moves into second position. Jeremy Adams has moved up into third. Brandon Wilkinson, your first fight, a little bit of contact with Randy Yoakum in the 4. They'll go single file, though. Yoakum looking for more, but it's a 3-car breakaway for your lead, almost like a plate track out there. But now the 69 of Matt Cucker going to send it to the outside.
I made it through lap 1, so that's better than last time.
I mean, it's an improvement, Evan. I mean,
he's plus 4, started 19th, he's in 15th. I didn't finish the last one, so if Trevin, if you finished the race, you did better than me. That's all I can tell you.
I'll do it. I don't care what place I finish, I'm going to beat you.
I mean, it's 15th, but it's not really calm back there either. It's, you know, still that 2x2 and 3x3 and such. The spots that we're really seeing spread out a bit are the folks up front.
Oh, it's dicey.
I'm catching Ricky here.
Yeah, you are starting to slowly close in on Ricky Harden in the 15. And
I won't give away my secret yet.
That was like a subtle, hey guys, look at me.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm catching the race leader. It's Austin Coop, the 53 machine. Only 2 car lengths off right now in the battle for the race lead. Lap 5 of 25.
And he's going over the curbs there. I don't recommend that because it's going to wreck your suspension, Austin. And I'm going to need that car after you're done with it. So,
what, are you going to R&D it or something?
Yeah, he's just lying to us. He'll sit here in the booth and tell you all night long it's bad to get on the curbs. He really says that so nobody goes on the curbs, and he can do it in the U-Cars division.
Ooh, it's going to get close, but the 15's going to chop the nose off Austin, and not going to happen this time. Meanwhile, side by side behind these guys, the 69 of Matt Cucker jumps to the inside of the 26 of Brandon Wilkinson, and the battle that we saw in your Napa late model division is continuing on here as Cucker able to go by Brandon Wilkinson. Single file, though, behind him of plenty cars, all single file. Here is Coop now going to go to the very inside. Still nothing for the 53, and the blocks are aplenty, Evan, as they come out of 2.
It was all the way down to the white line, and I think that Coop knows that Harden's going to block because that move was a little bit early into the quarter, really not a transition move, kind of rode that bottom, tried to flash the nose, big run out of 4 this time. He'll do the same, but he'll get to the inside, and let's go side by side for the race lead at lap number 8. Harden trying to defend top side. He's sticking with him.
Yeah, he's sticking with him off at turn number 2, wheel to wheel. Here is, that looked like maybe the 54, I couldn't tell, but a red and white car pulling off the track there was Jeff Grayson, as now they'll go side by side off at turn number 4. Coop has a nose at the line. No photo finish that time. I don't know who got it. They'll credit it, though, to the 15 of Harden.
Wait, what?
Now finally clear.
Yeah, you don't have a
They gave it to Harden at the line. He's clear now, but they gave the lap lead to Harden.
Yeah, no, now
So if there's no rain between now and the start-finish line, you'll be okay. If it rains between now and then, he'll get the win.
And Coop now going to get to the line there. The first lap led for the driver of the 53. And sneaking into this picture now is the driver of the 89 of Jeremy Adams, who gets a little piece of the curb there. But you see a little bit of right front damage on the 89. I don't think we have to worry about too much about aerodynamics in these cars because they're solstices, so I don't think we have to do that. But nonetheless, single file through the rest of your field. Another battle towards kind of the mid-pack here is around Robbie Bundin, that 87. And right behind him, it looks like, oh, that's actually Robbie Bundin behind the 7 of Kyle Leverall in the teal and purple car. Very interesting colored entry. And behind these guys, everybody single file. By the way, Gabe Wood up to 11th right now from where he started back in 22nd.
I just want to say that somebody at General Motors is not very happy that you said the Pontiac Solstice does not need to worry about aerodynamics, because I think they're very impressed with the design on that Solstice. It's aerodynamic and whatnot. Lap traffic getting out of the way. Your race leader now 4/10 in front to the battle between Harden and Adams. Trevin, what's the weather like in the middle of the pack there?
It's scary. My left arm is killing me.
He's single file for 16th, and he's complaining about his arm, and Coop's up here leading.
They almost went 3 wide.
Oh, caution.
No caution.
Oh, dang it. I did not want to hear that.
Somebody did not get the memo. There was a yellow.
Lugo Vickery around in the 24, and all of us
and nobody else stopped.
Drowned out Kyle, who usually tells us when these cautions are happening, and it was contact, I believe, maybe with Wilkinson here, as we'll take a second look on the LSRTV replay. Yeah, it was the 4 of Yoakum, and here we'll take a look here, Evan.
But I didn't see the yellow, and I knew the yellow was out, and then I was following the bright pink 09 to Gabe Wood, and he just barely slithered on through because those cars were basically blocking up a good portion of the track. The contact comes from
and we lost him again.
Oh,
And
so
we
close.
lost him again. I thought we could make it through that, but what Evan was trying to say was the 09 kind of shot the gap there between those two stationary cars, and we're right on board with Gabe here as he's up to 10th place position now as he made it through that wreck. And yeah, kind of close quarters there, but an excellent dodge by the driver of the drill spill pink number 09. And so we bring it back to the live shot here. Austin Coop continuing to be your leader as they're parked, resorting the order right now. And this is what happens when happens when you don't know how to park at the mall, it feels like.
What is happening?
So they're
All I know is
reordering.
I'm middle.
Yeah, so they're reordering the field because we always have 3 wide restarts here, and I'll drag him back in and see if he's back yet. And because we're reordering the field to go 3 by 3, Evan, it basically looks like the shopping mall on Black Friday right now out there.
That's an accurate description. I could agree with that one. And to be honest, off of the restarts, it kind of looks like that for a good little bit too. So this race, though, kind of calm, I would say, by our U-Car Center. We saw a good battle for the race lead. Coop making his way up front. He's going to have to, obviously, he gets the best position, if you will, or at least what race control feels like the control car deserves, and that's inside of the 3 wide. But I feel like with this restart coming up with 11 laps to go, it's a whole new race. We get set, and I don't think everybody's going to spread out as quick as they did last time.
Okay, and we're hearing from Kyle Barnes, and it was indeed the 24 that brought out the caution there. So either way, Austin Coop going to start on the inside of the field here. And Austin, how's that gear shift going? It didn't work for the 66. You got a gear in there?
I sure do. There's a lot of cars behind me. It's kind of intimidating as I'm about to get I have to go at this white line right here. It's like right about here. That's when we go, and everyone jumped behind me, but it's all right.
And he went robot for a minute there, so we'll see if we get him back. 53 takes the lead as they head through 1 and 2 this time, and it's chaos behind him. There's no other way, quite a word to describe it. And there goes the 26 up into the wall. No caution hearing yet as more drama around the 09 gets pushed up the track. That's Gabe Wood. They're 4 wide, almost 5 wide, going through the corner there. Also contact, I believe, with the 13 of Jody Green. But everybody manages to keep it straight, and we stay green here. And somehow Austin Coop manages to hold the lead as we stay green. Now to the inside, the 69 of Matt Cucker has flown his way through the field, and he's looking for the rear bumper. That 53 started 11th, is now running second.
I just closed my eyes and made it through. Contact with the number 72. I am around in the infield.
And there goes Trevin into the infield here, and looks like he's like
okay,
contact.
isn't he?
No, he is. That is a very damaged car. Also contact with the 72 of Rory Blum. So problems with the 72 as well as I believe that's the 54 of Jeff Grayson. But back up to your leaders right now. Matt Cucker has broken away as the 7 of Kyle Everall going to jump to the inside and kind of shove the 15 of Ricky Harden out of the way. And they'll hold on to it, staying green here as well. As now the 1 going to send it in. That's Mielbachler on the inside of Ricky Harden, the freight train apparently right now, Evan.
I'll tell you, if Leverall gets my back bumper, I might just let him by because I think he has a grudge against me about like a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, I think he owes you about 5.
Yeah.
Right there.
Is the concept you're going to let him go so you can hit him and he can't hit you?
No,
or do you actually want to give him the race?
No, I won't give him it to it. I just said I'm scared.
I guess if he can't hit you.
That's true.
Catching up. That's 0.7 of a second back in third right now. Cocker still P2. Harden fourth. Mielbachler fifth. And it's a side-by-side battle for fifth. Here comes Will Dravicki.
Yeah, Dravicki down on the inside. Great move, and he's going to have a nose out in front, just the headlight ahead, as they head back to turn number 3. Yet again, 5 laps to go at the line, and Dravicki looks like he's going to try the squeeze up Milbachler. Not going to happen, though. They're going to be even at the line, and that run on the outside is very fast, but someone else who's very fast right now is Austin Coop, because he's pulled away to about 8/10 right now on the rest of your field. That's when he was supposed to talk.
Yeah,
he's in the zone.
Yeah, I'm trying to focus. I've got Jeff Grayson. He's got a really damaged race car, and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to go around him right here.
Got a car on your inside, still there.
Thanks, spotter.
Still there, clear.
Thanks, spotter. I think that's cheating.
We got a spot for him. There you go. I thought that car was going to come up because he ended up on the curbs there. But you're clear this time by 22 down, 3 laps to go. Matt Kucker's going to have to make up a lot per lap.
Oh, the one goes around. 54, caution's going to be out here. And it was the 54, and Evan, we saw him swerving around the racetrack. Everybody else barely know they're not going to make it through. The 90 gets collected there. Happy to say, though, Trevin Valderrama was not on track, so he's not going to get collected in this one.
Good strategy. You can't get in the ranking for not on track. But it was Grayson who got, again, he thought he was going to hit those curbs and jump up in the coupe, which got me nervous. And he just turned in too early. I had no idea what that was, and tagged the one machine, and it made a mess. Because, to be honest, when there's 3 laps left to go and there's a yellow and there's cars wrecking, people don't really jam on the brakes. They look to try to find an opening and get a couple of spots late, and that's where you got a couple more cars involved in that one than there would have been if it was, say, earlier on in the race, maybe.
And to quote DW, I mean, Randy Yoakum had nearly made it through the wreck, and then all of a sudden, Rutrow, the lane closed up in front of him, and it was the 90 of the purple number 90 of Jeremy Watkins who decided he was going to shoot for the same gap as Yoakum, and then pow, the 4 goes around as well. So a couple extra cars to add to that. You see the 96 of Tanner Cook also as well. Well, Evan, that's going to park everybody on the front stretch again. Once again, we're back at the shopping mall, and that means I believe we're going to have a 1-lap shootout here.
Yeah, that yellow coming out at 3 laps to go is a really fine time to give me a loose wheel, and unfortunately, it means that 8/10.
I'm not giving you that one. That
is eradicated.
No, you went way
front of the
far
field
for that one.
Here's how they go 3x3. Row 1's going to be Coop inside, Kucker in the middle, Kyle Everall top side back on row 2, Arden Peterson, Dravicki.
Yep, and then Melvin, Ryan Milbachler, and Gabe Wood around about your top 10 right there. And Coop's got one more restart. Just don't mess it up, Austin.
I don't like this at all, by the way.
Good luck, man.
I'm in the best position, but I'm also in the worst position because I have nobody to hit in front of me.
Just pucker up.
You can do it. You can do it.
Clenched butthole.
Okay, we won't get to the censors on that one. We'll see if the FCC calls us later. Oh, car blew up. There's the green flag's out, and the engine's expiring. It was Jonathan Lawrence, and car in the wall already. 5 wide into turn number 1. Cars in the wall. Can Austin make it to the line?
It's going about as good as you could expect. A 1-car shootout at a
Here comes Leverall.
Top side, watch out, Harden in third as well. The 15 got him in the left corner panel, 3 wide at a turn number 4. Ricky Harden with a lot of assistance from the bumper.
I'm not sure that Austin was trying to block that lane, wasn't clear, and just took himself out. That's what it looked like from my vantage point there, Evan. I think Austin was trying to go for the lead and got a little too much bumper hook right there.
Well, he's in here. He's not talking. He probably threw his headset across the room.
I'm replaying I'm playing the replay over again. I didn't think he was that close to me. Honestly, I thought I was having clear day. I thought it was clear.
And it was Leverall up on the top side who I thought would have the run. The 15 got there, got to the 53, and actually, did get into Austin. And Austin goes up into Leverall, and Matt Kucker, the seas parted for the 69, who somehow gets second out of all of that, Evan. And Christian Peterson somehow gets third, and somehow Gabe Wood, after starting 22nd, finishes 4th.
He has a golden.
I said it on the backstretch. That would about as good as you could expect a 1-lap shootout in a U-car sufficient feature to go.
Yeah, he has a golden horseshoe in that car just about every week. I'll tell you that much.
The number 1, I'd like to point out, hopped over the wall and ended up inside a pit road. That was quite the scene.
Oh yeah, we'll take a
I can
look.
tell you
Oh
Trevin
yeah,
had
he
a
got
front
sent
row
over
seat
the
to that
pit
one.
wall.
Well, Trevin had a front row seat to that one because he finished 22nd out of 22 cars.
Hey, I made it further than you.
So now
That's a low standard to beat the guy that wasn't in the race. You're setting the bar pretty low. But
Always gotta beat someone.
But anyway, you two, we're gonna go through your full race rundown here, presented by JRT, and it is Ricky Harden who brings home the victory. Matt Cucker gonna finish second, third gonna go to Christian Peterson, fourth to Gabe Wood, fifth to Kyle Everall, sixth to James Mielbachler, seventh gonna go to Charlie Melvin, eighth place gonna go to Brandon Wilkinson, ninth to Randy Oakham, and Evan, rounding out your top 10, it's Jonathan Lawrence.
Finishing out the cars at the lead lap, 11th spot goes to Austin Coop. Jeremy Watkins is in 12th. Tanner Cook is 13th. The drivers who finish off for the lead lap, one lap down, 14th through 16th. Will Trevicki, Tommy Ryan, and Tyler Luco. Vickery with Robbie Bundon, 17th. Jody Green at 18th. Jerry Adams, 19th. Jeff Grayson, 20. And then Rory Blum, 21. And Trevin Valderrama, shotgun, P22.
And unfortunate night for Trevin, but we've pulled aside the guy who wins the race here, the U-Car race, and Ricky Harden. That was something at the end there. One lap to go for the finish. Talk us through it. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was really nuts. We had a great restart, getting pushed from behind, but going into 3, I just had to try to get to the inside. He left it wide open, and I clipped him a little bit, pushed him up the track, and then I think he tried to come down and block me out of 4, and I was already about down there.
Well, nonetheless, a fantastic race for you, and you've been kind of hanging around the front all night tonight, but to cap it off with the win in the U-Cars, it's the fun division, but at the same time, you guys are running for points. Certainly finishing in front of Gabe is certainly going to help those championship aspirations for you here.
Yeah, I think we were second or third to Gabe, but Gabe I think had a pretty big lead. So I don't know what we have to do to get up there, but this is just for fun, man. It is insane how much fun these cars are to drive. It's different than anything I've ever done.
Well, it's fun for us to commentate, and it's fun for you guys to drive. But Ricky, you bring home the W. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who gets it done for the 15?
I appreciate Brian Ramey and Associates for being on the hood. Le Mans Karting for jumping on board this week. Check both of them out on Facebook.
There you go. Ricky Harden brings home the victory. Ricky, congratulations, and we'll see you here as the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series continues.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Evan, that'll begin to wrap it up, and if your batteries are lasting long enough, we can begin to wrap things up here from Myrtle Beach.
I have no idea if they are still because I don't have anything to base it on. So if they get funky, you can kick me back down to the trailer. But it was a good night. I think, as I noted, this was the first time since the opening week of this series that we didn't have a double feature of any division at some point. We've seen the late models do it. We've seen the street stocks. We've seen them in the Chargers and the Super Trucks and so on and so forth. But 5 different races tonight, 5 different divisions, and 5 different race winners. So I think, Trevin, those are pretty good stats for a night out at the track.
Absolutely, and this was a fantastic series all along, and just fantastic racing out tonight here at Myrtle Beach Speedways, and it's always great to see all these drivers compete at their best of their ability, and week in, week out, and just find out who will win at the end of each race. And Matt Cucker absolutely dominated tonight along with Christian Peterson, and it was just fantastic to see, and can't wait till next week.
And as we head into the next week of contest, week number 11 of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series, we'll have a week off, Coop, and they will be back with us on the 29th of the month. That will also mark the halfway point on the regular season. It kind of puts things into perspective as we've been racing these things since the beginning of August with the Cars Esports Tour being off for the winter. It is all about the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series with the Championship Esports Association on Wednesday nights. And we'll be kind of every week bouncing between that and every other week for the rest of the year. But as of the next week on the schedule, which is in 2 weeks' time, we'll be halfway through this 2017-18 campaign. And also note that that's not going to be the only action that you can catch here at LSRTV and iRacing Live. And for a matter of fact, it's not even the only short track action. We've announced a couple of things here as of late. Of course, obviously, our Thursday night coverage with the Upstate Racing League, and also a lot of stuff with the Championship Esports Association as well, including some special events coming up later on in the year at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But at least coming up this week on LSRTV and iRacing Live, we are not going to leave you hanging. 3 more nights of non-stop sim racing action. We will see you tomorrow night on Thursday, November the 16th for the Upstate Racing League, with coverage beginning at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time this Friday. The Super Speedway Cup Series is back once again at 9 o'clock. And on Saturday, to round things out, the United Sim Racing VNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series takes 2 later on in the evening at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. But until week number 11, for the time being, that wraps things up for us here tonight from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. On behalf of the entire team at Live Sim Racing LLC, everybody who makes it happen behind the scenes, Laura Lawson, of course, DJ Lyon, everybody else who's topside in the booth night in and night out that keeps this well-oiled machine running. And of course, for the team tonight, for myself, Evan Pasoko, and my microphone would allow it to, for the rest of our team, for Austin Coop, Chris Murdoch, Trevor Valderrama, and our producer, Cisco Scaramouche, I want to thank you for tuning in. And again, congratulate all our winners. 5 races, 5 different winners. Kyle Barnes, Tommy Ryan, Brandon Wilkinson, Christian Peterson, and Ricky Hardin walking away with trophies tonight. The Myrtle Beach Simulation Series will return to LSRTV and iRacing Live in 2 weeks' time on Wednesday, November the 29th, right back here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. That race and every race, though, on this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series can be found right here at LSRTV, your home for sim racing. Until next time, good night.